like, and so you know what I'm saying. It's like a metroplex, so they can have one thing at one area and still have like a shitload of people at another area. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Dang, I really wasn't gonna get the ACDC free tattoo. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like, well, what kind of tattoo would it be? Just a logo or just a lightning
Probably,
bolt or
yeah.
one of the Hell's Bells?
It's free, and I would have probably got that, but I can't. I'm not gonna. It's
Yeah,
just
but
way.
is it a permanent tattoo or a temporarily?
It's permanent.
Okay,
You
there.
gotta get
Okay,
you
I'm
gotta get
bored.
big
Hold on.
balls tattooed across your
You said
face.
it's in Fort Worth. Let
Mhm.
me look up the tickets now. Let me get these tickets now. Hold on.
You know what's the cool thing about it is you get to do pictures holding some of the band's instruments. You know, like Prince or Paul. You could go down there and dress as Angus
Wait,
Young
let me
and
get this
get a
straight. You
picture
say
taken
Billy
holding
Idol's
Angus.
coming to Fort Worth. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know now.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Fort Worth, Texas.
Huh?
I've n- I haven't heard of too I haven't heard of too many more pathetic things than dressing up as Angus Young and going there and paying to hold his guitar. I would never do that.
Yeah,
No,
but it was. Well, you know what? I actually dressed up as Angus Young back in 2016 when I was still in the Texas there for a Halloween party they had at Numbers.
yeah,
Halloween is
a
different.
lot of people dress up as Angus, Paul Three. It's like a popular deal.
Exactly. And plus, the only problem is I didn't have a Gibson SG on me at the time, so I had to get me one of them Guitar Hero type of guitars. And this is before the guitar I got right now, which is a
Right.
Strat copy. And it's but kind of be awkward for Angus to walk in with a Strat.
Are you
Angus
gonna?
Hendrix.
Yo, are you live right now, brother?
Yes, we are. We've been live since for the past couple of minutes here.
The past 2 hours. Yo, so we do have Paul Three here, which is rare. This is nice.
What?
All
I'm
set.
here almost all
All
the
set.
time.
Nah,
All
last week
set.
we didn't get. I mean, like we just started early. We kind of jumped the gun a bit, but we started earlier than usual. So that's a bit on us. But
I'll be there, Earl. I'll be
All
there.
right.
I got it
Good,
looked
good.
up
All
on my
right.
laptop. I had to make sure it's located. So I'll get the tickets. I just looked it up. My
yo,
family's gonna look into it.
Prince,
So
listen, that Fort Worth thing is free. Like they it's a pop up.
Nice.
They take over a bar. Like it can be. I don't know. It doesn't say what bar it's going to be at, but say it's Dr. Brown's Bar in Fort Worth, Texas. Where they're going to rebrand it all for like 2 or 3 days, or a day, 2 or 3 days, and however long they're here. I mean, they're here for one show, but like the day before, whatever. And so they'll put ACDC, everything go in there, blah blah blah, free tattoos, merch out the
Mm.
ass, fucking everything, and that's free. It's a free event for fans, but the concert at Cowboy Stadium is the thing you want to go to, Prince, and you can. I mean, like $250, $300 seats, but they're not bad at all. They're really good seats. What they got left, and there's only 30. This is a U.S. tour of 13 fucking dates.
Oh,
Super
wow.
limit, super
Interesting.
limited, very limited, and around they're going to be in Tampa area. So I mean,
What a
like,
waste of money.
no, this thing is going to be
what are you talking
great. This
about?
thing is going to be.
Bro, what a waste of fucking money for real. There's like no members left. What do you got? Like Brian Johnson and fucking Angus Young. That's all you got. They're merely touring just as those guys, bro, and a bunch of like studio guys in the background. This ain't shit. I
You,
would never pay.
fuck
No,
you,
dude, you go for the
fuck
experience.
you.
Just go for the fucking experience. No matter who's fucking left. Just go for have a good
Well, I
fucking time.
think I think they still have Phil Rudd as their drummer, the original since the
No,
beginning.
Do
If I'm
they? Do
correct,
they have Phil
I
Rudd?
believe.
Do,
no, it's only Angus and Brian Johnson, and then like Angus Young nephew and Malcolm Young.
Well,
They're
what
okay,
about
the only
one?
people, but
Well,
that
I
don't.
remember Cliff Williams was not involved.
That shit don't matter because no, only people care about is Angus and Brian anyway. To be honest, I mean, come on, Paul
I
Three.
mean, hey, you know what? Like,
This is look. They're billing this. This is like the 50th anniversary tour. They're billing this, but this is like pretty much a farewell, bro. Like this is. They're probably not gonna. I mean, maybe, but the last time they toured, the last time they were in Texas or anywhere else was 9 years ago,
Mm.
guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's obviously the whole
yeah.
Axl Rose thing, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah, filling in for Brian.
They, I
It
mean,
feels like a cash grab, bro. It feels like a cash grab. $200-300. Like, goddamn, bro. Could you ever give back to the fans for wanting your
no, they
pathetic
were,
fucking careers?
that's the prices now. When they went on sale, I mean, you could have gone for like $90. Nosebleed. Look, this is like, see, I'm comparing it to like the Metallica show, which was at the same arena, at the stadium, and honestly, I mean, look, I'm listening to a lot of YouTube videos, blah blah blah. They do. You can kind of tell they do tune down a bit, Paul Three. I mean, I don't want to say they play the song super slow, but they do tune down a bit for Brian Johnson, but it's really not that bad. And these are like, bro, this is a
I
big
have a
tour.
question.
Very
I have a
limited.
question.
Yeah.
Do you hear any backing tracks? Do you hear any fake vocals? Do you see any fake sort of guitar playing or anything like that? Because there's a lot of touring acts nowadays, and even in the local scene here where I'm at, I'm not going to name any names, but there's a couple of local bands that's been using some tracks. I'll just say there was a band who had a keyboard player in the background. He was not fucking playing keyboard. He was triggering background vocals and guitar parts and shit with his keyboard, bro. That shit's
Like
fake
a
as fuck.
Well,
like
I'll
a
say
sampler.
the, the
Yes,
drum,
yes, like a sampler, yes.
the
Right.
drummer and the bass player that they have now are probably 30 or 40 years old. I mean, they're way younger, number one. So I
Mhm.
don't see why, like obviously Cliff Williams and Chris Slade, former drummer, and
Bill
others,
Rudd.
Phil Rudd, blah, blah, blah. They are older, okay? And yeah, it could have been a money thing. Hey, come on this tour with us, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, but, obviously Brian and Angus are probably getting paid more than the other guys in the band. I mean, it could
Bro,
be equal,
bro,
but,
no, no. I have to speak up on that because I'm just not reading. It is not, dude. To think it's equal, you're fucking crazy, bro. The guy on bass name is Chris Cheney. Who the fuck is that? I guess he's been what he was a veteran session musician. He was a veteran session musician, and he played with Jane's Addiction. The drummer is Matt Lugg, also a veteran session musician. Just what I said. It's Brian Johnson, it's Angus Young on a big cash grab with a bunch of session guys that they pay fucking peanuts.
well, listen,
Let's
look,
also not
you
forget
gotta
Stephen Young
understand,
on rhythm guitar.
Arthur, you got to understand that, and on whether it is the nephew, yes, which is pretty cool. It's all in the family. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's cool.
Uh,
That's cool. That's cool.
okay, I would say, and you're right, Paul. Three, even all but old, young, do the backing tracks. I would bet to say, ACDC's never been like. I mean, it's going to be live. I think it's going to be 100% live.
It
Honestly, it's going
is
to be.
live, most
See, listen,
definitely here.
I think this one is going to be super loud as well, guys. Very loud. People say ACDC plays loud, and
Now, again, I have to shut you the fuck down, bro. No big concerts, no arena concerts are allowed anymore. It's not like the 70s when you could go see Deep Purple and fucking come away half goddamn deaf because of all the Marshall stacks. That's not the way it is anymore. There are sound regulations, there are specific decibel levels. The
now
best
there is.
place to sit,
It's an indoor stadium. It's an indoor, and
even worse, bro. Even fucking worse, in my opinion. It's gonna sound weak as fuck, especially if you're far back. It's gonna sound like you can't even hear it, to be honest. You're not gonna feel the bass in your chest. It's not gonna be booming. It's not gonna be huge, bro. The best place to see shows are theaters and small clubs because you can actually hear the fucking music.
stadium shows are the worst because of the sound. Yes, but when I was there for the Pantera Metallica thing, well, Metallica sound is always A1, but like, how the openers sometimes it's not the greatest. I mean, it really wasn't for Pantera, but like when what's his name, Charlie Banani was doing that kick drum,
Yeah.
that stadium was shaking. Paul Three when he was doing that kick drum. You know what I'm saying? That famous Pantera sound. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I
It
know
has
what
to
you mean,
be.
man. Yep.
It has
but
to be huge.
like KK's pre-show at a little club. Yeah, and it was like cotton in my ears for the next 2 days, 2 or 3 days. And so like it does,
I
but like
know
I
what
mean,
it's like, man.
but historically though, people do say, and I looked it up, and I ran it through AI. Part three, ACDC is allowed as one of the louder louder than most bands. And I don't know if there's going to be, obviously you have Dr. Brown, older guy, um, in the mix and stuff like that. And
Yep.
Angus Young's an older, I mean, Angus and, all these guys are way older than Brown. But
Yeah.
I'm saying, Paul 3 does call it a cash grab, which isn't everything a cash grab? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of
It
things
kinda
are when
is,
you think
but
about it.
there's no new album. They're just merely going off of their name. They're riding off into the sunset.
Talking about they released the album during the COVID shit and it fucked up all because
That's
these
not a
tours.
new album. That's not a new album. That's
Oh,
5 years ago.
you gotta back me up on this, man. They
No.
released the album a couple years ago. Power
Doesn't
Up.
matter.
Yes, they did.
Well, the one they did, the one
Doesn't
they put
matter.
it out was called Power Up, and I believe it came out in 2020 or 21, if I recall.
So when the
And
COVID happened, they were supposed to tour during that shit, but the COVID happened and it kind of, fucked it up for a couple years. But that they were supposed to tour. I mean, it's a greatest hits tour plus those songs. But look, it's like 2 hours set. It's gonna be a long. They start tonight. The first show's tonight in Minnesota, right? So we'll see the set list and everything. But like a lot of deep shit that I haven't even heard of, bro. I mean, a lot of '70s Bond shit they're gonna do. I mean, I don't say shit I have never heard of, but like, they're gonna play some deep stuff. But like, I really think Paul 3 shitting all over this because he couldn't get a ticket to go. I don't think they're even coming to Pennsylvania. I don't think they're going. Check that.
They
They
are
might be
co-
coming soon. Are they really?
They are coming to Pittsburgh. I am not going to get a ticket. To be honest, I'll tell you the next show I'm going to go to really quick. I think it's in 5 days. I'm probably going to see Rick Wakeman in concert. He was
there
a
you go.
keyboard player of Yes. He has a solo career. I mean, this guy is probably the greatest living prog rock keyboard player on the fucking earth right now since Keith Emerson's dead. So
I know.
yeah, AC and those tickets are going to be like $53. So
Sounds
fuck paying
good.
$300. Yeah,
Well,
$300 for ACDC.
that's just here. The ACDC. I mean, there's tickets in Minneapolis that are 90, and the ticket prices fluctuate for different states. So like, it might be cheaper, but this would be the one time an opportunity. Look, it's not the whole original band, but Paul 3, the importance of Angus Young and Brian Johnson in the rock, just history. Brown, when
Yes.
Back in Black came out, that changed the whole.
Yes, that changed their careers because they were big time stars after that. I remember I was about I believe I was about 14 years old when that album 14. It was 1980 when that album came out. It was close to the fall of that year. It was like
Wow.
blew up all over the radio.
1981. Good
Blew up. The
I mean, they're
title
gonna,
cut,
Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be.
yeah.
I mean, they're going to do some deeper. I mean, obviously, all Paul 3. Look, I have to
Sin
admit,
City.
like, ACDC is next to Guns N' Roses, probably the most overplayed stuff. And you've heard these songs a million times, right?
Yeah, the
But
ones on the radios, the ones I was about to mention,
all,
Back in Black, shook me all night long,
all
Highway
of
to
them,
Hell,
all of them. I mean, this is going to
a
be.
lot of them.
This might be like one of the greatest shows someone can attend. I don't know, like in a while. I mean, obviously, back in the day, it was a different deal, but.
Here's what I'm finding. The most recent album they had, Power Up or whatever, was recorded in 2020. The lineup for that is great. It's Brian Johnson, it's Phil Rudd, Cliff Williams, Angus Young, and Steve Young. That lineup is fucking great. If that was the touring lineup, it would be amazing. But I did a little bit more digging. Phil Rudd is not touring with them because his partner, who he's with, has like stage 4 breast cancer. So
Oh,
that's commendable. I totally
I
understand
understand
that.
that full well. Yeah.
I think he
Absolutely.
did
And
that Power Up. I think he did that Power Trip Festival though date when they first like got announced. Like ACDC did that. Remember that, Brown? That
Yes, I remember we were talking about that many shows before.
I think Williams
eh,
was on that bill. But go ahead, Paul
Maybe
T.
so, yeah.
yes, Cliff Williams was on that show. I was speaking of Phil Rudd. Cliff Williams,
Okay.
I'm not really finding why Cliff Williams left the band. I'm going to assume it's probably health or touring related. The man is 75 years old. You know what I mean? It's probably hard on the guy at this point.
Nashville Magic. You talk about vocals, and I mean, isn't that the whole and dirty deeds? Isn't that the whole? Isn't him doing that whole?
No, that was Angus doing that the particular voice on those backing vocals on that track.
But he did do background vocals live. He was just a great presence in the band. A lot of times, you know, it isn't so much about what you play, it's about how you look and what kind of vibe you bring. Stage presence, they call it.
And
So
Cliff Williams
Cliff Williams
definitely
had that.
provided that. That's for sure. Him and Malcolm
Absolutely.
when he was still alive.
And look,
Big
it's
time.
stadium, bro. Most of the general public. I mean, obviously, they're pretty much sold out everywhere, but you know, most of the people are going to be not close to the stage. I mean, yeah, they're going to have screens, but it's like they're really going to focus on Angus and Brian Johnson most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
Like,
because those are the two lead members. I mean, like Johnson is a singer, obviously, and of course, you know, Angus, the iconic guitar player, and with the schoolboy outfit that he's been for ages.
Paul 3, bro, the whole Paul 3, you gotta agree with me on this one. Rolling Stones.
Wait a minute,
Rolling
Brown. You
Stones.
said you in a
No,
schoolboy outfit?
not all original members, but still Keith, um, not Toby Keith, Keith Richards.
I should have been
Wait a
a
minute.
cowboy.
I mean, Rolling Stones
Brown,
only have 3 original members. left,
Another
right?
Time Lord for you.
Is the bass
I'm
player of
confused.
Rolling
Brown, what are you
Stones?
doing in a schoolboy outfit?
What's up? What, Prince?
You said something about a schoolboy outfit.
Yeah, I wore
what is
that
it?
twice. I wore that one time on the Halloween in July event that they had at one of the nightclubs in Clinton Township, Michigan. Lipsticks to be or Starburn, that's what it was. That was back in around, I guess it was 2002, if I remember, if I'm correct.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that. And the second time was when I was still in Texas, Numbers nightclub in Houston. Yeah, check that joint out sometime soon, Prince, when you come down to H-Town.
Wow.
They had a Halloween
That means you
event.
got good legs, Brown. You got good legs.
Yo, Paul
I
I
3.
mean, you're all tall person, so
Paul
obviously
3,
you got good legs.
My hair was long. I had the look. I had everything else. So I figured, hey, let's go for it. Wish I had an SG with me, like I stated, but alas.
Yo, Paul 3. So you gotta understand that most bands these days, they don't have the original members. Paul
But
3.
you're asking me about the Rolling Stones, and if you want to go down that road with the bass player, like we mentioned it briefly, Bill Wyman, although he is 88 years old right now, which is insanely old even for those guys, and he just released his latest studio album in 2024, which is even more
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
I don't think I don't think Bill Wyman's going to be touring anytime soon, and also
That's
the
good
whole
news.
and he might get canceled because of the whole thing with him dating that like child and
Well,
very shady.
that was years back there. I think it was around the early 90s. And then I guess that was years ages. So I think people are past that right now.
Well, here's a suggestion a song I've never heard. I just looked it up though. I like kind of doing research when we do these shows during the show as topics come up. The Rolling Stones released a album a couple years ago, and Bill Wyman played bass on it. So it's called "Live by the Sword" by the Rolling Stones, and I'm gonna listen to
wow.
it probably after the show. Curious.
I was not aware of that album coming out there. I heard years ago that they were supposed to be putting out something there, but I wasn't really paying attention to it.
Yeah, the album's called Hackney Diamonds. It came out in 2023, and Bill plays bass on one song, so that's pretty fucking cool.
All right, there.
That new AC/DC album, or the newest one they have, Power Up, is classic. You put it on and listen to it. It's classic AC/DC. Sounds like something in the 80s or something. I mean, really, it's really.
Well, that lineup, is great.
Yeah, but the problem is I have with it, and I think a lot of people had mentioned this before. It's like the same, beats, the same repetitious chords. People say they need to upgrade their sound. They need to change a few things. But then again,
what do they need to change, Brown? It's their sound, though. That's their
because a lot of people have complained about this. Man, I just only listen to what they have to say, and I'm repeating what they told me a few times.
I don't want them to change none. That's their sound. That's their thing. That it's
Yeah, because
simple.
but then again, also we also got to think of this: when you sound the same all the time, you kind of like it sounds repetitious. It sounds kind of dragged down. It sounds like what they call a self parody. If bands don't tend to grow and experiment, upgrade the sound a little bit, they're going to become what Robert Fripp mentioned, a self parody.
But on the other end, those same fans, if they try something different, they will shit on AC/DC.
Yep, absolutely. I was going to mention that as well. Like, geez, the same thing happened with the Stray Cats years ago around the middle of the 80s. The rockabilly scene had died down. If they just didn't know what to do, if they change their sound or upgrade it a little bit, they'll be called sellouts. If they were to continue with the same thing that they were doing, they'd be like, oh, boring as hell. They suck. Why don't they break up? And eventually they just said, let's just break up, bottom line. Of course, they would get back together time and time again, like Slayer's supposed to be doing at this upcoming event.
Oh yeah, hey, let's talk about that real quick. The news that Slayer's coming, Paul 3, this is all you. East Coast, big thing. Blah blah blah. I mean, look, that's where we're gonna get the topic. Brown, one of the bands that did the farewell thing, and they're coming back doing. Yeah. I mean, real quick, look, let me make the statement, and we'll talk about it more later. About the farewell thing. All the bands are gonna do the farewell thing. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? They promote it. Not all, but most. But their trick is, oh, we didn't say, we said from touring. That doesn't mean we're not going to do a few shows here and there. That's always going to be the thing. Limited pop-up shows, whatever. But anyways, Brown and guys on the show, this whole Slayer thing with Paul 3, Paul 3's band opening for him. Paul 3, what do you have to know? This thing, I mean, look, Slayer's always going to do stuff. I'm not really, I mean, Rainy Blood, I guess. I'm not too familiar. A little bit too extreme for me, Brown. You know me, I can't.
I know, yes, I understand that well. All fans are going to be having orgasms over this news because Slayer is like one of the big four next to Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax in terms of the thrash metal genre. I mean, go ahead.
That show's going to be in Hershey, I believe. Hershey.
Oh, hey, yeah. And the wrestling bit to this, I don't know if y'all caught this. Who's going to be hosting this is from WWE, great, and a big fan of metal, and one of my favorite WWE superstars, Damian Priest, will be heavily involved with this.
What?
Really?
Yeah, look it up. Look it up right now, please.
Well, let me just say, one of Damian Priest's finishing maneuvers is called "The South of Heaven," which is a Slayer song.
And his intro song is done by Kerry King, guys. By the way, I don't know if y'all knew that his Damian Priest's intro song was done by Kerry King, and that's a fact. I mean, this is real. This whole metal and wrestling thing, and wrestling and metal and music and whatever. Like, Damian Priest is not liked by anyone. Like, people say he sucks, but I don't see that. I just, he needs to find, I don't know. Like, I like the whole, I forgot the damn fraction, for Christ's sakes, that he was in. Whatever, blah blah blah.
Day. The Judgment
Day. I like that shit. He's a leader. He is a leader. He's definitely a leader. But
no, he got kicked out, bro. He hasn't been in the Judgment Day in like over a month.
And the same thing with Rhea Ripley. She's on her own right now. I guess she's doing her own thing. She's still involved with that beef with Liv Morgan at the moment. And
Paul 3, look up that Damian Priest stuff with the Slayer stuff and see what exactly.
I got it right now on Loudwire, and it says Slayer announcing a massive September 20th, 2025 stadium show in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
The Damian Priest, we know that, but the Damian Priest stuff.
And he has been tabbed to host the epic event.
Isn't that wild? Like, what?
It is.
I wonder how many Slayer fans know who Damian Priest is. Number one.
Well, they're gonna know now, most definitely. Also,
but it's like if a wrestler came out to an Iron Maiden song or a Judas Priest song or a Metallica song, like I would be a fan and I would probably know that.
I mean,
because,
Triple H did have Motorhead. Come on now.
That's
That's
true.
true.
that is
Well,
true.
man.
Hey,
Yay.
that is a fucking damn good point. Damn good point.
That is.
Look,
Yeah.
metal is back. Metal's real. Hard rock is real. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more on the Damian Priest stuff, or is that all? Like, is it?
That's
is it,
all.
He's gonna,
That's all. That's all for now. The other bands are going to be at this Pennsylvania show: Knocked Loose, Power Trip, Exodus, which Kurt Hammett used to be a part of before joining Metallica, and a group called Cavalera, which features Igor and Max Cavalera from Sepultura.
I think that Knocked Loose band is one of the Metallica members' son's band. I think. I'm not sure.
I know a friend of mine on Facebook who lives in Tampa. She posted a video of their performance not too long ago on Facebook.
All right, Paul 3. What is the word about the
About the what?
article?
Which article? The
Better
Slayer
send you right now.
article? Okay.
What? Say what? Prince,
Gene
I want to know
Simmons.
how
Go ahead.
Prince is doing personally. I feel like we need to do like a check-in with everybody at the top of the show to see how we've all been doing. Prince, how you been
What are you
doing, man?
talking about,
What's been
man?
going on?
What the hell
you
are you
doing?
talking about?
Just because he's
Come on,
black
man.
doesn't mean he doesn't have a license or a car, bro. Come on, man. What do you say?
What do you mean? How am I doing? I'm doing well. I'm here. I'm excited for the show.
Yeah.
You
We
been with
all
Sean?
are on time
We're
on
the
this
first
one,
guys
Brown.
who answered the call when it started this.
You been
Yeah,
hanging out
what
with
the hell
Sean?
are
You
you
been
talking
hanging out
about?
with Sean's View? You been hanging out with Sean's View? You getting that clout?
Bro,
Yo, I
all
just
I said
wanna.
was, all I said, let me clear the air. Let me clear the air. All I said was, I'm trying to speak to him and try to get him back on track, trying to get the ball rolling again. So hopefully we'll get something rolling again. It's been a couple
I
of
just
years since we
wanna.
spoke to him.
I just want to make an
So,
announcement here right now for everybody that I think I'll be featured on the Jake DeMarco program here soon. Jake DeMarco, shout out to
Really?
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
really,
what?
really good guy. He actually wants to join us sometime. He
Yes.
records he
Yes,
records during this time right now with his buddy Spaz Phoenix, who you may remember from the community from years and years ago in the wrestling community. He records
Yeah.
with him during this time. So maybe if we get a chance, we can do another day sometime and we can get Jake on here. Jake is such a great guy. He revamped his entire channel. He spent money on new equipment. I mean, he's really doing it big. So
Why did he
check
do
out Jake
that?
DeMarco. Because man,
Yeah,
he's
he was
he's-
he was featured on the greatest wrestling show. Why is he doing his own? Did you ever get anything from him about that?
bro.
Probably a breakdown
I-
between him and Joe, most likely.
Bro,
If
that
he
is
wants-
that's like
If he
Angus
wants to
Young
tell
leaving
that
ACDC
story-
or something.
If
What
he
the
wants to
fuck?
tell that story, he can tell it here or he can tell it on his own channel. I'm not going to be the one to tell him.
No, I
tell
would
that
never.
story personally.
That
But,
would
like,
only
I
I
don't-
would never
yeah.
put that on Jake DeMarco live, but I would ask you.
Jake's a great guy. I'm just going to say that. Jake is a
Yeah.
good
He is him.
person.
Seems pretty cool,
Legitimately.
man. Most definitely.
He-
We got to definitely
He
have
needs to
him
go
on the
back
show.
to Cronin though. He needs to make things right for monetize this 500, bro. Please.
He plays guitar as well, so we could all
wow,
we could
nice.
all play guitar. Yeah, he's a really good
Yo,
guitar.
try to
Alright.
work on that this week. Paul
Five-way
3.
guitar jam. That's what we need. So
I
looking
can
forward
set-
to doing that soon.
I can set
on
it
that
up.
this week.
I can set it up. I just need an alternative day, kind of when Dr. Earl is free. If you're ever free on like a Monday night, a Tuesday.
The only days I have off are Wednesdays and Thursdays. I work every
We
other
can do
day.
late. Can we do like 10:30, 11 at night
Okay, what about 9 p.m.? Would that sound good?
or 9?
I will ask him and then I will get back to you guys because I definitely want to have him on here. I think it would be cool just to have Jake on the show.
Yeah,
as
Joe,
well.
does Jake
absolutely.
know that I'm part of the show? That YR is a part? Does he know?
Let me just say, YR, he's spoken very highly of you. I've spoken highly of you. We're all
What?
cool. We're all
right.
cool. Everybody's cool, man. You have nothing to worry about.
Yes.
And
And
look, I would never bring up some Cronin shit on the show with him, but I would ask Paul 3 to like not pre-screen questions, but like see what he's wanting to, obviously if he's just here
Listen.
for music, then we stick to that. But like that wouldn't be
Listen.
bad to have, because I could bring, because I've always, and it's me, and it's no other show, and people know this. If we can get DeMarco on, I can get Cronin on, and we can have them patch things up. But it have to be through our show, through Brown, through our stuff.
I don't know about that. All that. We're not going to go down that route. We're just
No,
going to have
I know,
Jake
but
here
maybe
for
one
music.
day. But maybe one day.
I don't know.
One day.
Maybe one day, but we're just going to have Jake here for music. And man, we're
Yes.
starting this community here that we have now. I believe is going to be potentially be one of the strongest we've had, because you know why? Because we're all friends here. We're all respect each other here. We don't fucking backstab anybody here like all the other previous hosts have done in the past. So let's keep it a cool, fucking awesome, fun community.
I
and
take a
not
bullet
ruin
for
it.
Joe
All right.
Cronin, and I take a bullet for everyone on this program. So
would you take a bullet for Dave Rose? He's in the chat right now. Shout out to you, Dave.
Rose is a part of this program, yes.
Yeah,
I
Dave, you want to join in? Feel free to, Dad. Excuse me, rephrase that.
Jesus
Feel free
Christ.
to. My bad. So that happens a couple times there. My bad.
Brown, you got that phlegm. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You be doing
I know.
that.
All
You
right,
be doing
there.
that skull. You be doing
Okay,
that.
Dave, if you
Earl
wish to
swallowed
join
his
the
tongue.
yeah. Dave, if you want to join the program, let us know in the chat. We'll definitely get you in the mixing bowl for shizzle. All right.
Yo, so Paul 3, do you want to attend that? Would you like to attend that Slayer thing? Or?
No. You know, maybe at one point in my life, maybe 20 years ago, I kind of would have been interested, but no, I don't want to be around that, dude. The crowd going to Slayer are usually insane asylum fucking candidates, so I don't want to be
Real?
around any of those people at all.
A bunch of like douchebags and shit. Like
Yeah,
weird,
they're drunk.
Like,
A lot of them are either drunk or they're like crazy straight edge, and they want to go there to fight people in the pit, and I don't want to be a part of that.
What?
Yeah, shit's crazy now, bro. I don't want to be a part of that. Everybody's angry in the world, in the United States right now. It's a bad time to be in a mosh pit, to be honest.
What's even worse, to be in a mosh pit wearing sandals. I heard somebody did that back in the 90s, and man, did their feet get fucked up. Damn.
That's odd.
Brown, you
Why
never
would
been in
they
a
do
pit
it?
in the 90s. Get out of here.
No, never
Have you?
was. No, never was. This is what I
I was
heard.
in plenty, bro. I was in plenty of pits years ago, but I couldn't handle it now, bro. I'm not trying to get injured in a fucking concert. No, thank you.
That intense.
Yeah, but the idea is that some douche preppy boy tried to get into a mosh pit with all these metalheads and punk rockers, and but he was wearing sandals, one of them sports sandals, and oh boy, did his feet get fucked up afterwards, man.
Prince, I want to just wonder. I'm like curious how you're doing in life right now. Like how you been?
Man, I'm rocking out, and I know, I'm not going to be in no mosh pit anytime soon either.
Hell no.
That's not
I'm
something
not
I
a
would ever
mosh.
do.
I'm not a mosher.
Sometimes
I
I
would
feel
never
like
be in a mosh
Prince.
pit.
Sometimes I feel like Prince doesn't feel like he can talk, and I just want to like give you that open invitation, Prince.
Yeah,
that
you got
can
that right,
speak.
Prince. Get up here and say something there.
I've just been, I've just been treating myself good. I've been trying to keep the community alive and keep rocking and rolling on the show.
Yeah. Now back
It's
to
this
the
show that means a lot to me. You guys just don't know. It's this show right here that means a lot to me. We've been going strong. I remember my
Prince
first
is helping-
debut on this show, and
Prince
I
is
was
helping
right
By the
keep
there.
the
way,
rock and roll alive.
well,
man.
let's go back to the shoes thing. When did they started selling the Axl Rose shoes? Because I remember seeing
even
those
know.
back around the 19.
I've been hunting them down.
1990.
Prince, don't
91,
get them. Those are
92.
some chunky, ugly ass shoes, bro. Why would Axl Rose? Why can't he just wear some Chuck Taylor or something classy? Like, why does he have to wear them damn knockoff Shacks, bro?
Because he digs Axl Rose. That's why.
No, I'm talking about those the shoes itself. Those are ugly. They're like, did you see those?
I saw him. Yes, Prince showed the image
What
in
the
the
hell,
Skype
bro?
chat here.
Why is he wearing that?
I know, but like I said, he likes Axl Rose. I figure what better way to represent him than to wear some of
No,
his
why is
custom-made
Axl
shoes.
Rose wearing those shoes, Brown?
Dude,
Why
those are
is he-
popular.
I don't
Those are
know. Ask
popular then.
Axl Rose yourself, dude.
Those were the fucking thing to wear back in the day, bro. And I feel like
Yeah,
Prince
man.
is like one of the few people that can pull those off right now, bro. Are you kidding me?
For real.
Yeah.
A million
Princess-
different shoes.
Hell, there's
See,
a lot
Prince-
of help.
he doesn't.
That's
He doesn't
another thing
understand
that's going to be
fashion. He
big.
doesn't understand fashion. He doesn't understand fashion.
Bro, Prince has that rock star look and like outfits, but he doesn't have any talent to back it up.
Rockstar lifestyle might not make it. You know what I'm
dude.
saying?
See, Paul,
Sounds
so
like a
you get
challenge
He
right
doesn't have the
there.
talent, bro. His
Get
fucking
it.
cousin is is beefing with Booker T right now, for Christ's sakes, and making AEW and making his run all about race. Which, by the way, Prince, I don't like that. Your cousin doing all that shit.
Oh, the whole shit with him and Booker T. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like making I'm
Yeah,
the first black man to take a shit in this arena. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Well,
You know
what
what? I'm
told him,
No,
glad you
fuck.
mentioned that
if it
because on
wasn't for Booker
Facebook I
T, he
saw.
wouldn't even have a job. I said, Booker T paid the way for you, bro, and you just gonna disrespect that man? What the hell is
You know
wrong
what,
with you?
dear? A lot of people in the NXT crowd agreed. There was a short clip of people saying, fuck Swerve, fuck you, Swerve, long live King Booker, and Booker T was at the announcers table. This was at the NXT taping.
No,
Well, Booker-
I'm
And you
definitely.
saw
I
the
agree with that.
you saw
I agree
the
with that.
smile on Booker T's
paid his-
face from a distance.
Booker T
And
paid.
I agree with. Yeah, you can speak on this better than anybody, Prince, for sure.
And the fact that one of my family members has lost his complete marbles, and I know Swerve, you're gonna be watching, but I'm gonna get on to you. Booker T is a five-time world champion. The only thing you have done is hold the AEW champion one time, and other
Yeah.
championships in Defy Wrestling. I've been to every show. I've been when you was a part of Underground as Kill Shot. I've been everywhere you've been, buddy, and you have one championship, but you're no Booker T, bro. Okay, and you only won a WWE title, and that title was the North American champion, and then you got fired, bro, and you ran your ass over to AEW, and you're still fighting to get a title, bro. But you go and disrespect a Hall of Famer, two-time Hall of Famer. That is Booker T, bro. What is wrong with you,
But
bro?
hold on. Maybe that's a work. Consider this, Prince. That what Swerve is doing in terms of Booker T is kind of like a work to promote himself. Wrestlers often did that in the past and many times
This is
before.
my
my
work
family.
is.
This is my
Corey, let me
family.
give you an
Hold on,
example.
hold on.
Jesse the
This is my
Body
family.
Brown's trying to explain what a work is. Come on.
Wait.
Bro, it's not a
Jesse
work.
the
It's not
Body.
a
Jesse the
he's
Jesse.
basically trying to gain publicity off Booker T's legacy, and I don't like it. I don't
Well,
like it.
that's what wrestlers do. Like you gotta remember. As I was gonna say, Jesse the Body Ventura, when he was still with the WWF, as it was called, he was taking shots at the living legend Bruno Sammartino, who held the WWF title for 8 years. And he said he made these claims that when he heard that Jesse the Body was coming for him, Bruno Sammartino made the choice to retire. He's a living cream puff as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes that could be a work. Who knows? That's
No,
how
look,
wrestlers
Brown, you're
promote
missing.
themselves.
Brown,
That was a
you're
good
missing-
impression.
Brown, we know what a work is. We know we get all that. The point is, look, that's not even the being. Yes, he's doing the beef with and look, it could be like, it's not a work, Brown. It's not a work because Booker T. Now, if Booker T was signed with AEW, blah blah blah, then yeah, it could be like, oh, they're obviously gonna work up to a match or whatever. But I mean, that's a real dislikement because this dude, and obviously, you know about this. He keeps. Look, I don't watch AEW like 24/7, whatever. But I try to keep up with what I can, which is really nothing. To be honest, I couldn't tell you who the champion is right now, but race thing, the race. I'm the first black. I'm the first black. I'm the first black. I'm the first black, and AEW and a lot of liberal people are still holding on to whole that weird, they them mentality, pronouns, blah blah blah.
Yep.
Did Trump came in and killed all that
Good.
for 6? So,
Because the
You know.
pronoun scene was stupid as hell.
Bro,
But anyways-
I'm not
But
gonna
I
get
think
into
what-
politics
I think what
because if
he's-
you do,
we're
you're
not going to
gonna
dive into politics. But I'm just
I know. I'm just
pointing at
saying
this
we're
to
not going to
obey,
be
but-
doing that. But
But
let me
not, we
say,
don't
like-
do that
you won't-
here.
You won't like what I have to say, YR.
well, let me
Flaming-
mention
as
this.
a flaming liberal, Dr. Brown, just like you, diehard liberal.
But I'm not a
and-
liberal.
I'm not either. It's not I'm an independent. I'm an independent
It's
thinker, and
not-
I'm American.
either-
I
And I'm
pull out
American.
both sides. I call
I'm
them
an
both
American.
parties when they do
It's
something
either you're for
stupid.
Trump or you're for pedophiles and LGBTQ. So it's one
No,
of
there's a middle ground, and Dr. Brown is also an America First person. We are America First people, and we are not biased to any side. And we
Dave
do not.
Rose. Dave Rose needs to agree with me in the chat that, or
No,
doesn't need to,
Dave
but like
Rose.
Dave would agree that that is a cop out saying, "Oh, I'm in the middle." No, it's either you're
No,
for Trump, you die
Dave.
for Trump, Trump die for you, blah blah blah, or
No.
you're a gay pedophile LGBTQ person. It's one or the other.
YR, you need to stop
No,
watching the TV. You need to stop watching the TV, YR.
at this
You need to-
point, there is
But,
no decision need to
Earl,
be made. Like
Bro,
Trump or
turn-
not.
Yep.
Love him or
Turn, turn
no
off
middle.
Fox News. Turn off
finish
Fox
Earl's
News.
question, please.
Turn
well,
on all
let me
news
finish.
altogether.
There's
Turn
no
off
middle.
Fox News.
If you talk about Trump or politics, but like the Trump shit, it's either you hate him or you love him at this point. I mean, come on, you got to agree with that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There's people who voted for him who don't agree what he's doing right now and don't
No,
believe that he was living up to his message.
Devious Dave Rose, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh
Welcome to the
God,
show.
politic mania.
Dave, can you please? Am I way
Yes.
off here, or is this?
Glad you're here, Dave. Thank you for joining, so we can.
I
stop
was
this
just
whole
hoping
bullshit.
to tune in so I could hear you guys shit on the Eagles for fucking doing their many.
Yeah, we need to get to the topic.
Yeah, I want to get to that. I'll
Yeah.
wait for that to get down.
So what do you want? You want to talk about that? Or you want my opinions on your fucking bad takes on wrestling and shit and how Booker T is a fucking sellout coon?
Ah, come on. You really like him?
Dude.
But what was the point you were making? Because I before I called in, I was like, he's making a good point. You were sort of.
Paul
Yeah.
Three's trying to be a John Lennon on the show and say, "Oh, there's a middle ground. There's independent." Nah, it's
Oh, that's
either
right.
you hate
Yeah,
Trump
yeah.
or you
No,
love
you
Trump.
have to take. You can't be a Joe Cronin. Okay, don't be a fence sitter. Don't be a libertarian. That's gay. Just pick a side. Whatever it is. Even if you look bad in the end, just pick a side. I have to
Right.
I
agree
picked
with
the
YR.
side of Americans first and not Israel first, so that's what the Republican Party has turned into. So YR, go suck a circumcised dick,
Well,
you
yeah,
fucking
now
douche.
Paul 3 has a point, but I mean,
That's true.
again,
I agree as well.
regardless, it's just you guys gotta stand by things. Also, Booker T again. These chants. Okay, first of all, I thought AEW is nothing, and yet they're chanting, Swerve sucks at fucking event. Like, yeah, obviously rent free. And
Yeah,
what has this guy done?
Dave,
What has
no,
this
Dave,
guy done?
I don't
This
stand.
guy
I don't
has
stand.
this.
He's my family, and I told him, you trying to build your career by burying Booker T. I
No,
said,
he's
dude,
We need to
not.
get this
wasn't
guy
for
on the
He
Booker
show,
hasn't
T.
even-
bro. Please.
No, that's false because he hasn't talked about Booker T at all throughout his fucking. This guy's built himself up. He got to the point where he was brought in. He had to do shows on AEW Dark, okay, but he went through it. Tony recognized this guy wants to go through it. He gave him the opportunities. Look, I was watching this guy when he premiered at fucking Lucha Underground, and
So did
I
was
knew he
there.
was great. So this guy is fucking. No, but here's the thing. This guy has done so well. I love the way that he's been a champion for AEW because he's gone out and he's been to all these different events. He's brought this attention to AEW, and on top of that, it is what you won't see in WWE is somebody who is black, who is quite capable and can produce and isn't given the highlight there. But again,
Are
we
you
could do
saying
this on
that
another show.
You're more like entertained by Swerve Strickland's career than Booker T overall so far?
Yes. And it's
What?
yeah, you might think that's crazy.
you,
and
Dave.
I love Booker T.
Thank you,
I've
Dave.
loved what he's accomplished. Again, I was watching that last episode of WCW live. And the guy certainly deserved that win. And he was underappreciated even in WCW. But what Swerve has accomplished so far, it's incredible.
That's
and this
what I'm
guy
saying. Oh, you accomplished. Don't have to stomp Booker T's legacy to make a point.
But no,
Don't have
he's not though, because he hasn't said shit until Booker T put his name in his mouth. So fucking Swerve responded, and that was it was appropriate. And then a lot of people agreeing with Swerve got fucking Booker T like, oh no, I'm the victim here. Like, just stop,
That is true.
It's Booker T that started it. But regardless, again, I don't want to make this a wrestling show. Again, I was just calling in to really just set the record straight on what I thought because I was asked. But again, I'm actually quite curious about your guys' thoughts about all these bands that have
Well, I was told to
Yeah,
address.
let's get to that, man,
that they've
because like
they
I
monetize.
tried not to address it.
What about Black
Tried-
Sabbath? Black Sabbath has gone on farewell tours, haven't they?
yeah, they did. The last one was back in. They finally called it quits in 2017, and now they're going to do this one final run. And I think they're doing this final run is because during the 2017 tour for the past 15 years since 13 came out, there was no Bill Ward, so this is their last big hurrah with the founding drummer Bill Ward on tow.
One of the first, I believe, Paul, through if you want to run this through AI, one of the first farewell tours was The Who, I believe.
Yes,
Thanks.
back in
Yes,
1982.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 1982 was a farewell tour, and they did not come back until 1989 with the anniversary of their music being celebrated. That's when they went on tour, minus Kenny Jones on drums. And it's been like that for how many years? Up until Entwistle's death. Now, it's just Townsend and Daltrey carrying on the Who name. And I guess they're supposed to be, if I'm correct, they were supposed to be doing a farewell tour, but still, I've yet to hear any more about that. This is
And
what
does that
I heard
count?
on
That's
the
another
rumor
thing.
mill.
That's an existential question I want to pose to everyone on this call because, again, it interests me. Is if most of the band members, the previous band members, have either died or just stopped, playing, and it ends up with two, for example, like Dr. Earl said, or just one person, is that the same band? Does it have the same weight? Are you as interested in it? Do you consider it the same? Like, what do you guys think about that existential question?
All right, let me go first. Let me open the table. So I think, Dave, it's a band by band basis. So like, Kiss, a lot of people when they had their reunion tour in the mid '90s, the whole the whole Detroit Tiger Stadium thing,
Yep,
whatever
opening
famous thing.
gig from their reunion tour with Chris,
And
Fraley, Stanley, and Gene.
and then so that's the
band,
original band, blah blah blah. But there's a lot of people from that fan base that in the 2000s, they I don't know these that maybe '99. I don't know the exact year when Ace and Peter left, but then they brought in these two replacements that used their same paint. So a lot of people straight up stopped going to Kiss shows the past 20 years.
Yeah,
Just
because
because of that. So it is a band by band. I mean, but you look at AC/DC, people want to see Angus and Brian Johnson. Like, obviously, there's others that's cool, but like, it's a band by band basis. You look at, a band like Slipknot. You look at a band like Blue Man Group. I mean, who do you really know if they're really? It could be one night. It could be subbed out for someone else, and he could be wearing the mask. If they're wearing masks, you don't really know. So does that really matter? A lot of the bands doesn't take much, and I know it takes talent. I'm not talking about that, but like it doesn't take much to have 4 or 5 other humans recreate the sound from a song and sound. I mean, that's why the tribute thing is big and whatever. But like, so it doesn't take much to have that sound what you want. Sound good live, whatever the song sound good. I think it just singer is an important part, like original singer, is probably the most important thing. And they still have the voice. They still sound good. I mean, I'm all in.
Hold on, but there's a lot of bands that have actually moved on from the original singer, and either they've maintained relevance or they've actually seen an increase in, popularity. Although there's some that are just fucking
Yep, that's
well, like
true.
the Skid Row, the Skid Row thing pisses me off. Like
that
they're,
doesn't
what I'm
really
saying?
jive.
The whole Skid Row thing, it's like they use the name Skid Row, but like the singers, it's in and out when they could use Brown.
I know how
they
many.
could use
Yeah,
Sebastian
exactly.
Bach.
We did a thing about that when many episodes ago. How many singers they had since Sebastian Bach was let go the way he was.
But back to Dave's point,
Okay, but what about Van
really
Halen
all about
even?
it's all about
Yeah, they definitely made it bigger after Roth left, no doubt about that. I mean, he had massive commercial success, and Roth ended up eating his own words.
well,
They
Dave.
fired they
The
fired
brand,
Sebastian Bach for the most stupidest reason. All he said to the band was, "We are not bigger than Kiss," and he was right. He was paying respect to a band that he grew up, liking. He told the band, "Don't ever think Skid Row is bigger than Kiss." Skid Row called the band Kiss and said, "No, we're not opening up for you because we're too big." That's a fucking lie. Kiss would always be a better band. Like, what the fuck? It was
If
Kiss way
Skid Row,
before
well,
Skid
if
Row. The
Skid
fuck?
Row, let me dispute that one. Whoever made that claim, if Skid Row was way bigger than Kiss, then the last record they would have put it out before the Kiss reunion tour would have been all over the charts and all over the radio.
Thank you. The fuck?
Exactly. Subhuman Racing
So
came out in
you want to
95.
bash? They want to bash Sebastian for standing up saying we are not bigger than Kiss. The fuck you guys are on?
Exactly. Let's not forget, Kiss helped influence Sebastian Bach big
Thank you.
time.
The hell
getting
of
way off,
that.
getting way
I
off
don't
point,
blame
guys.
Sebastian
Look,
Bach for
back
not
to
going
Dave. Back to Dave's
Fuck 'em.
question.
Fuck them.
Dave, it comes to the logos as well, like the band.
No, see, that's
Comes into question.
that's a little going. That's going a little too far, and this actually relates, to be quite honest, to a paradox called Theseus paradox, or the ship of Theseus, which is basically if you replace every single board and mast and um, anything in a boat, in a ship, is it the same ship? If you replace
Not
every
really.
single part, and you could imagine that to a car maybe, but like if you replace every single part, is it still the same band? So
yes, because that Chevrolet or whatever that brand of car that you're loyal to, you're gonna go to and spend your money on no matter what. So all the
bands
diehards.
that you see, YR, the tribute bands, not cover bands, because that's not the proper method to describe them. They're tribute. Are they actually, again, if it doesn't matter who's in it, are they not the actual band that you're gonna go see? Like, are they not fucking Metallica for real, or Pink Floyd, or fucking Leonard Skinner?
No,
Or
it's
Dokken.
it's
But
an experience.
again, you just said it doesn't matter what the parts are of that machine.
It's all on timing. It's all timing, you know what I mean? Because you can take a band like Journey in their later years, Steve Perry, man, he had lost his fucking voice, in my opinion. I think that's why he really didn't want to tour anymore. So they had to go out and get another guy. They had no other option. Van Halen, I think, was a little bit different because all lead singers that aren't trained are usually fucking egotistical assholes. They usually are. They're hard to deal
Yeah,
with.
definitely.
That's why there's a lot of bands that change lead singers too. It's not just because the guy loses their voice. It's because they're just hard to deal with as people. So they go out
Yeah.
and get, trained people who know how the business works, who don't fucking complain, and who can go night after night and sing those songs. So it's really,
No
it
problem.
depends. It depends if it's like, what saga or what era of music rather are we talking about? We talking early 60s and 70s when bands were changing lineups, like King Crimson, when they would change lineups all the time and their sound would fluctuate? Or are we talking when Journey just adds a new lead singer and plays the same old hits? It's really timing comes down to it that
Well, it comes down
determines
to if you go to fucking concerts or not. If you go to concerts, it matters. If you don't go to concerts, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's go back to what Paul was. I'm trying to understand the timing aspect. What do you mean by timing?
So,
Like
in a
years.
band, if you look at like the 70s, for instance, like all
We got Dave
maybe
Rose,
the
the Music Maniacs. Ah! Sorry.
Wow, dude.
Or like we'll just say the Rolling Stones, for instance, like how they shifted from the '60s Stones, like with Brian Jones, to the '70s Stones with like Ronnie Wood, for instance,
And
and
Mick
like and the
Taylor.
other, yeah, Nick Taylor. I was gonna say in the middle. So guys like that, and you really had like a creative shift with the band. They were writing new music. It was kind of like almost a creative overhaul for the group in a positive way. And then you have bands like Three Dog Night that were going out with all Chuck Negron, and then Corey Wells dies, and then you just got what's the third dog?
Not too sure myself.
Danny,
Don't-
George Wilson.
Danny Huxton or something like that. Then you just have the third dog going out on tour with two other singers. That's when it starts to get cover band-ish to me. It's not like they're creating new music. They haven't entered in a new era of their band at all. They're just doing it for the fucking cash. And that's
Bro,
what
you're way off.
YR,
I mean-
that's what YR's supporting is shit like that, trash like that, where he goes to see the Little River Band and there's no original members just
I know
because they
that-
licensed the name.
So
no,
Not my
that to me
fault,
is-
bro. Look, I was born in a certain time, and you know what I'm saying. I couldn't see Brown. Saw all those bands originally back.
Well,
I mean,
they
even
said, well-
Dave. You saw Pink Floyd or whatever, Roger Waters or something like that.
yeah, I
didn't you?
saw
Let's-
both of them. I saw
All
both.
right. Let's also throw in the current Jefferson Starship. No Paul Kantner, no Marty Ballin, no Grace Slick, just a couple of members, leftover members from the 70s lineup with a bunch of new members.
So it has
It come-
it warrants the question to everybody. Okay, cool. Like, hey, they're playing in my local casino, not a fucking bandstand or anything. Like, oh, okay, we get to sit down with the old people. Is it the same band for real? Okay, so you get a
Not really.
rocket show. Maybe you're getting a rocket show. Who knows? That's always good. I mean, YR goes to cover or whatever shows tribute. But like it's a rocket show, so you're enjoying yourself. Like,
Look, I got to tell you,
that's
like,
on you. But like, can we
really,
still consider that band to be that band if nobody is still part of that band? Like,
down to it comes down to if you're like you're AEW hardcore, you're not going to miss a show, whatever. You're a sport, you're sport, you're a sports fan of a certain team, you're not going to miss watching them on TV. Like you're a fan of a certain band, you're not gonna
no,
miss
please don't bring
anything.
wrestling or any sports into this. I'm keeping it music.
Yeah, let's
Like,
keep it
make me
music,
understand
YR.
music
saying-
wise. Like, again,
No,
like
I'm saying if you're a hardcore, if you're a hardcore of whatever you're a fan of in life, you're gonna do what you have to do and make it happen to be at that event in any whatever that thing is. Band,
Okay,
sports,
Southerner.
whatever.
tell me this: is Leonard Skinner like still Leonard Skinner?
Nope.
No, but if you're a fan of the band, you'd like to go see that live. Yeah.
And then you can get it discounted when you go see a cover band like you do. Like, so is it the same? Again, is that
That is true. It's the official, like Foreigner. It's the official tribute.
So
I mean, they
basically,
don't call
you're
it a tribute,
seeing,
but it is.
you're seeing people who have the official stamp on stage, charging you like $300 for a ticket or whatever, who are never part of it, compared to the guys that do it on their leisure day. They put on a great show and they charge a tenth of that, and you're still rocking out and still enjoying it. And in fact, they sound better. So
It's like if
True.
I'm keeping it music, but for an example only. That's like if Joe Cronin hired from YouTube but licensed out the name, monetize this to us, and Dave Rose was the host. We owned to monetize this, but Joe has nothing to do with it because he sold it like Kiss do it, like selling off their IPs, selling off their
it's not the
catalog.
same.
No, it's like a cleaning product, bro. You
No,
can
you
buy
get the
name
point.
brand.
The point I'm trying to
No,
make.
no,
you're
you-
getting
it's like
no,
a product.
Please let me
point.
finish my point. Please.
No, you're
support-
getting a better show at your fucking tribute band shows
I know,
than
but
you
the
would
point I'm
with the real
making,
band.
the point I'm making, y'all are all not getting the point I'm
No,
making.
your
Is
point
if you're a
sucks.
hard,
Your point
hello,
sucks.
Brown. If you're a fan,
YR,
if you're a
slow
fan
down,
of the-
dude.
if you're a fan of the band, hardcore fan, you're gonna be there no matter what. If it's one person, if it's the drummer, if you no matter what portion of the
No.
band. Foreigner,
You're
there's
wrong.
hardcore
It's
fans of the
not-
band Foreigner. There are
You're
no original
wrong.
members, but the fans still go and they still sell
Oh
out
my
arenas.
No, if you're a real fan, arguably you'll probably know more about it and be less likely to go because you'll be disgusted.
That's
that there's actually
bullshit!
People to know. It's
That's
more of the
bullshit!
casual people. It's more of the casual people, the
It is.
husband and wife, and they want to go out and have a good time, have a couple drinks. You know what I mean? A couple weirdos like you film entire concerts
You're
and then upload them to YouTube.
Wait a minute,
Hey,
you're
let's
yeah,
turn
that's-
saying
this
there's
about
into
it.
more
enjoyment, but
there's more casuals that show up than hardcores at a concert?
Most
I think a
likely
lot of
not.
the
well,
time,
actually,
yeah.
at a casino, for example, I would say yeah.
Or a nightclub
Hey,
or a small
yeah.
theater.
It's not
There
the
might
same as it
be-
used to be.
And it depends on the band, bro. A lot of these bands aren't that casual, like a
How about the
Sepultura.
band
That
Kansas? Oh, Sepultura sucks. How
or
about the
that
band
no, that
Kansas, for instance,
makes-
bro? Kansas has the original drummer. Actually, I think Phil Ehart had a stroke, and I don't even know if he's playing with them now. But they have the rhythm guitar player. That's about all they have right now for Kansas. They don't have Steve Walsh on vocals. The original bass player, Dave Hope, is nowhere to be seen. So, but they still go out as Kansas, and people pay decent money to see them. I would call that a tribute act.
well,
Beyond at this
That's
point.
true.
Doctor. I mean, Dave. I would
Dr.
say
Earl.
this.
And
from
why
me
ever
being
pay
someone-
a tenth of that and still say like it was a great show? Yeah, and probably
Being-
better
from
than
me
the fucking
being-
one that would charge you, 10 times the amount.
Wire, I'll
And that's
bet
the
you
official band.
Me
When
being
it's
a concert goer right now, I would say personally, I like for a rhythm guitar player or piano player of a band, or I probably wouldn't be too interested in that. Like if if Rob Halford dies tomorrow and Judas Priest still tours with a replacement, and like the only original member is Ian Hill, the bass player, I probably wouldn't be interested in going to see that. To be honest with you.
okay,
it has to star
let's-
members.
let's break this down, Wire. Then okay, so Sid Barrett is gone from Pink Floyd. Is it still Pink Floyd? Has it become Pink Floyd yet?
That was a
Okay,
different
so
era. That was
fucking- then
1960
fucking-
fucking 9.
What's that?
It was
No,
a
but-
different era, bro. The music business was in a different place at that time, man. Like,
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
trying to
it,
make
it, it
Wire
was still the same Pink
understand.
Floyd.
and
He
plus,
doesn't
you
get
also
it, bro. Shit's
plus,
corporate now. It's like the Republican Party, bro. It's all corporate. It's fucking
But I'm trying to make
overran with a bunch of
Wire
bullshit.
understand the
well,
whole
let me add to this.
content of the body, and when you dissect it and nothing's left, it no longer is what it was defined as.
Dave, music lives forever in one shape or form, whether it's tribute
Well,
band,
let me
whether
say
it's
this. So on the regarding
one
the
of those
Pink
things.
Floyd,
Hello, I'm not done with my statement. It's one of those things. Music, it will live forever, and whether it's a tribute form, whether it's the whole hologram form, guys.
That wasn't
whether
the
it's a
question. Let Earl talk.
yeah,
documentary.
so there,
Earl,
going back
go
to
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
going back to the Pink Floyd thing there. Yeah, Sid Barrett co-founded Pink Floyd, but also he co-founded them with Roger Waters, Richard Wright, and Nick Mason. So when Sid Barrett was let go for the group, and he was let go because they couldn't deal with his mental illness and drug use anymore, and brought in David Gilmour to make the save, it was 3/4 of the band.
Yeah, but
However-
had they become okay, but here's the question. That era Pink Floyd, was it the era that defined Pink Floyd? Because I
No,
don't
it
think it
was
was.
No, it was the
And-
70s Pink Floyd. After Dark Side of the Moon came out, that's when they became Pink Floyd. Bingo.
Exactly. So it was identified. And then that was, their staple and thing understood. But then what happens in the 80s after the final cut? Well, the final cut, you got
Roger Waters departing and taking the band to court to prevent them from using the name. But
Correct.
Pink Floyd won that suit. Roger Waters ended up
okay, so
jackass.
so David Gilmour led Pink Floyd.
Yep,
Is that not Pink Floyd? So
it
what?
is.
But that's the thing, though, is Pink Floyd has always shown themselves as been an evolution of prog rock, and it's to be able to witness that, the difference and experience, just listening through the albums as things progress, I think has just been lovely, despite the fact that some of these guys have some political takes that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But regardless, is that how do you define Pink Floyd? Is it the singer? Because for the most part, the rest of the band stuck together. Is it the content? Is it the style? Again, like we're getting to the point where it's like if you remove one aspect, the Theseus paradox, if you remove one aspect, does that change the ship? So that's what I'm wondering about you guys. These sort of points here is like with Pink Floyd specifically. What do you guys think about how I just made those statements?
It all
Well,
depends when you make the shift. It
quickly,
all
quickly.
depends when you make the shift. And that's what it is. Do they make the shift when there's 1 or 2 albums in? Do they make the shift when they have a whole catalog behind them and they're just trying to, bank on their fucking back past and all that and just play their hits. It all depends. Do you know at a time that David Gilmour and Sid Barrett were on the same album, Saucer Full of Secrets? So it's
Yes.
not like it was, Sid Barrett and then David Gilmour. There was a little bit of overlap there and kind of creative evolution that had to happen in order for David Gilmour to kind of become almost the co-face of Pink Floyd with Roger Waters. So I mean, it's not as simple as just saying if we remove one member here and there, da da da. There's a lot that goes into this about, like I said, are they one album in? Is it an early part of the band? Like the Moody Blues, the first original Moody Blues was nothing like what we got later on with it, Days of Future Past and all that. We had Denny Lane from Wings, if you know him from Wings, Paul McCartney and
Yes,
Wings.
I remember. He was the original member of the Moody's. He was the one who wrote and sang the song "Go Now," which became a
Go
big hit
Now.
for them. Yes.
Their first hit, yes, absolutely. Great call there. Great song. And then you had the Moody Blues shift to what everybody knows them today, Nights in White Satin Moody Blues. So, like I said, it all depends when it's happening, in my opinion. Like when you have a whole band that's just been used and abused for 30, 40 years, and then you have all the old guys sitting at home and young guys touring for them, that's when it's shitty. When it's a young group and they're trying things and evolving with other people, that's when I think it's still the band in a sense, and it's not just a amalgamation of bullshit.
Guys, that'd be like, okay, so to simple man's terms, the general public, his band announces, hey, tonight we're doing Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, the full album. We're going to cover that whole album. In my mind, else's mind, you buy a ticket to that show, you're going to a fucking Pink Floyd show. Okay. In your mind, you're going to go to, Paul 3 is going to have the laser boxes and everything. You're not going to go to the Pink Floyd show, but you get a couple beers in you, you smoke a couple doobies, you're at a Pink Floyd show, my brother. Tribute or not.
No, you're not. You're not. You're at the Australian Pink Floyd show.
You're
not
Or
at
the
Pink
Brit
Floyd show.
Floyd show there, or any other tribute.
That's the
or
only
Paul
Roger
3,
Waters. Paul 3 shits on the tribute thing and everything. But that's the future. That and holograms. Another 20 years, all these bands.
No, I disagree. Also, I do want to mention Beast Incarnate in your chat, Dr. Earl, who says Animals is the best Floyd album with Dogs is their best song. Now, I will slightly disagree. I will say Animals is one of the best Floyd albums, okay, because I'm very impartial to Wish You Were Here. But Pigs, Three Different Kinds,
great album,
the best song.
Shara, bara, bara, or however.
And by the way, Dave, speaking of that album, did you ever check out the 2018 remix of that whole album, which came out a couple years back, Dave, by chance?
Which album by who?
Animals. It was a remix back in 2018. It's delayed.
Remix? No.
Yes, it was. Yes,
Was it by Pink Floyd or somebody else?
Pink Floyd. It was remixed by somebody else. I think it may have been James. Yeah, it came out a couple years back on the Pink Floyd's record label, their own little record label before they sold everything to Sony. And I listened to it, and the remix version of Pigs, Three Different Ones, is pretty damn good, especially what they did with Roger Waters' face. Definitely there, yes.
Yeah, but you have to know the tidbit about that album is David Gilmour played bass on most of that album, not Roger Waters.
I did not know that, but that's pretty
yes, sir.
Yes, David Gilmour did Gilmour did the fretless bass on the wall track Hey You.
Oh, but the guitar on that album is just so good.
And that just goes to show what a genius David Gilmour was, because people love the bass on that album as well. And it's David Gilmour, bro.
Boom, boom, boom.
Pink Floyd guys. Absolutely. So there's a bunch of farewell tours over the years. Get back to the subject.
Yes, we got to talk about that.
Overall, Dave, to close your question.
Yes.
Like an hour on this question. But it's a great question. From personally me, like Paul 3 was saying, bands like Kansas, where it's an obscure, I want to see the big players. I want to see the stars. I want to see the big names. I don't care to spend money on You know, and it really depends too, because I've seen guitar players of bands like George Lynch, he's famous for being the guitar player, not the singer. So all the rest of the band are young guys, and you're going to see Lynch play guitar. So like, it depends on who you're a fan of, what you're wanting to see. But overall, blanketly, if the band is like, if it's not a guitar player who I'm interested, or not the real singer, original singer, I have no interest in paying and seeing that live. Like the Foreigner thing, I know they sound great, but I have no interest in paying money to go see that Foreigner thing.
How about Robin
It's not-
Trower? How about Robin Trower? Through the years, Robin Trower is a guitar player. Bridge of Sighs, Victims of the Fury, one of my favorite guitar players ever.
In City Dreams.
Yes, sir. But he had a singer, James Dewar, who was an amazing singer. He passed
bass
away.
player.
And bass player, yes, sir. And he passed away though, and Robin Trower's been touring since, and he has another singer. Well, he's had a couple of different singers. Davey Pattison, who is a prog guy, I think in Gamma. I want to say
Yes,
he's in
if you're a
Gamma.
fan of the band like you're all into that, of course.
But would
You
you?
get
What
what I'm
about
saying?
that?
It's if
Would you see that if it's just the guitar player, but it's kind of centered around him, but he has a completely different
Yeah,
band
like I
around
did,
him?
like the George Lynch thing, and the couple, obviously the couple solo
Yeah.
singers.
Well, that was-
seeing the
that was
Piercy
how-
thing, seeing the Piercy thing or whatever, like the singer thing. For me, the big thing is the singer. Seeing that singer from 30 years ago, 40 years ago, sounding great now, like that blows my mind. The singer thing, but the guitar thing is a bonus. It's cool, and it really is a personal thing for you. What band, what bands, what groups, what songs do you love and you want to see live? Like, it's a personal thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, what wrestlers do you like the best? What do you not want to see? What do you do want to see? What do you want to pay for? So like, to Dave's question, it goes to your personal taste at the end of the day, and it's really a lot of answers to that question, because we heard a lot of answers, like, and it's for me, what members are there, what members aren't there, what members do you like, what members don't you really like? AC/DC, I don't care that the original bass player is not going to be touring, but as long as you have Brian Johnson and Angus, that's all you need, in my opinion. Paul 3 sees it differently. Paul 3, you shit all over that. You have no interest in that, correct?
Okay, I have a question. Would you rather have an original lead singer that kind of sounds he's kind of hitting the notes, sort of like a Lou Graham from Foreigner? Would you rather have that, or would you rather have a complete replacement that sounds note for note perfect?
Ultimately, me, I'm all about the original singer. So like this, look, I'd rather see Sebastian Bach solo than Skid Row tour. I don't care about Jake Sabo, Snake Sabo. I don't care about what are the other
Snake
members.
Sabo.
What are the members, Brad Brown?
David
That's the only one that
Snake
matters.
Sobo. Or Scotty Hill. Or Rachel Bolan.
Like the Gene Simmons thing, the solo tour. I was all over that. I mean, they canceled it, but I was almost like, oh my god. I mean, I don't necessarily want to see, Tommy Thayer, solo. It's what bands what members in the band you're a fan of too. People are just fan of the band, of the members or whatever. Not just the band, but the members. People worship these guitar players, Dave. You know what I mean? Like the guitar god thing is real. Like, guitar players are really important. Just important as a singer, but like Paul 3.
Well, guys, I'm gonna go make some dinner, but I'm gonna keep listening to you guys. So thanks for taking my call, and again,
Glad
look
to
forward
be
to you
on.
guys addressing the topic that was listed in your title about farewell tours.
Farewell
Because again,
tours.
the Eagles Kiss obviously needs to be shit on, because but then again, like, they're just great merchandisers, so it's understandable. But like the Eagles, $1,500 for a nosebleed. No, they need to be shit on, despite the fact that they've made some great music. But I would love to hear you guys shit on the Eagles, because they've gone on way too many farewell tours. And on that point, farewell to thee, gentlemen.
So you want to monetize this 500?
Thank
my
you,
brother?
Dave, for being. Thank you, Dave, for being part of this discussion. Definitely.
We'll see you on 500 on Saturday.
I know.
Yo, it has to do with what the fans, how much are they willing, not just to pay, but like who's willing to buy the tickets. When Kiss, obviously through the years, the prices went down, because they toured like a lot. They toured a
Yeah.
lot. Guns N' Roses, $25 nosebleeds. Like there was a run 8 years, a few years ago. They were on a run, this past decade, and I mean, it was huge. You know what I'm saying? Doing these baseball fields and shit, but the prices go down because they tour too much, and it's really what the demand of the fans. You talk about this band that Paul 3 wants to see. I mean, the demand of it.
Rick
It's not
Wakeman.
going to be. It's not going to be a stadium thing, but it's going to be, the pricing and everything. And ultimately, man, I think the Who is just as important as the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. I think they're right at the number 3 spot. Beatles being 1, Stones being number 2, and Who being 3. Maybe the Beach Boys might be at number 4. I mean, Paul 3, you might be against that, but the Who live right now, I feel like Daughtry sounds really bad for years, kind of.
But then again, that's age catching up to him.
kind of
That's
washed up.
obviously.
But seeing some of the videos recently, they're doing some thing in overseas right now. Not that bad. I like to catch that. I mean, look, if Ringo Starr comes back with Paul McCartney and they do Beatles Reunited 2025, doing all the hit Beatles songs, you know how that huge that will be?
Oh, it'll be
They
huge,
never
but I
will.
doubt if it's going to be. They'll be calling the Beatles 2025. It'll probably be Paul and Ringo sing the Beatles or perform
be
the Beatles,
called-
basically.
It would be called With a Little Help from My Friends, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr
like,
Tour
it's
2026.
Good call, man. Good call for Shizzle.
The whole
Yes.
Pantera deal. He's half bands, 50% bands. Again, it goes back to what individual band it is. What's their story? Kind of like to Paul 3's point, like kind of the whole background of the band, what's going on at the time, blah, blah, blah. But if they do it right, like Pantera did, Sammy Hagar did it somewhat. I mean, the Marley thing did it to where they really give you the tribute to the original artist. Their pictures are on the screen. They're giving their plenty of nods to the original. Like the whole Pantera thing is a whole nother. I mean, that's a whole special case in itself. Like, kind of, it's similar to what Sammy did with bringing the Van Halen shit back this past tour. The whole Best of All Worlds tour and everything. These
Here's
major.
a question. Sorry, go ahead. After
We'll quit, and I'll finish.
finishing up.
I'll finish. These major people, these major members, these huge names that are dead, but you still want to see something live now. The nostalgia thing gets put into effect, guys. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. It helps people cope as well. It could be a safety blanket, a safety net, like nostalgia. Watching, so that's why I be sitting like Paul 3, these year 2000 videos people have, like people in like school and like just showing old shit and stuff. Like it's like, whoa, it's comforting. So like nostalgia puts in effect as well. Like, again, if you're a drinker, if you're a smoker, if you want to get down and dirty, if you're fucked up at a concert and it's half the band, that don't really matter either, bro. It's as long as the song sounds like what you want it to sound like. The song, it's all about the song, bro, and the moment and feeling it live, feeling the song live, being it live, the vibes, vibrations, the lights. Brown, you know about that, the whole live experience.
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
Paul 3 on stage, it's a whole nother deal. You're trying to entertain these people out in the crowd, so it's like.
Oh, it's completely different than sitting in the audience, bro. It's completely different. Here's a question I want to ask. Has anybody ever been on or seen a farewell tour? Because I just want to share my experience really quick. I saw the Beach Boys in, I believe it was 2012 when they released their last album, That's Why God Makes the Radio. It was with Brian Wilson, Mike Love, Al Jardine, David Marks, Bruce Johnston. It had some of the Brian Wilson band who are just incredible musicians. It had Mike Love's son, Christian Love. And wow, what an awesome show that was. I know the Beach Boys are still going, but this was truly the last
What
Beach
year
Boy
was
tour.
this?
I believe it was 2012. I have clips on an old YouTube page of mine where I was absolutely screaming at Brian Wilson at the end of the show during Fun. I was losing my mind right at right up to the stage. I slapped Michael Love's hand. I mean, it was just wow,
What?
legendary. Yeah,
Wow.
And that was billed as their farewell tour.
kind of, yeah. It was they didn't know what was going to happen. There was rumors that they were going to, do it again. No pun intended, because that's a Beach Boys song right there. But it was rumored they were going to continue it. But apparently there was like some bad handlings with the how people were going to get paid. Mike Love, I think, kind of got greedy, and unfortunately for the fans, it didn't happen. But they did I think it was called their big 50 big ones. I think they called it. You can look into that tour. But yeah, I saw them on that. And for if you ever heard of the Beach Boys, their later stuff like Pet Sounds, they have a legendary song called God Only Knows. It's Paul McCartney's favorite song. He always says it in every fucking interview. But anyway, during that, they put Carl Wilson on the screen. It wasn't like a hologram, but they had
Yeah.
the video and his audio. They had it synced up to the live band. So Carl was singing with the live band. He was singing God Only Knows, which was, wow, what an amazing, moving, like, experience, and what a moment that was. I don't know why people don't do that more for different, like, acts and stuff like that, because you can sync it up, you can definitely sync it up. And they did it for Dennis Wilson, the drummer who drowned, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They did it for him as well. So
Didn't they have
what
a
that would
movie, like a Beach Boys movie, not a doc, but a movie?
Yes, it
Made
was
for
called
TV movie?
American Band, I believe it was called. It came out
Yeah.
ages ago. I forgot what year it was.
I remember that scene.
Yeah.
He drowned in lake or a pool or something.
Yes.
Fell in there.
It was
in
in
the ocean.
1981, 82, if I recall.
Yeah, it was old. It was like older.
Yeah. Dennis
Yo,
Wilson was
so
definitely the partier, bro, of the group. But let me just say that was my experience at a true farewell show, and that was, wow, what an incredible. I know that was a lot, but it wasn't typical of a normal show, man. It was like all the fans, all the hardcores coming out. They played a couple of deep tracks. I mean, it was an emotional experience. It really was, because those guys were old. Brian Wilson, he has dementia now. He'll never tour again. And just really quick, I'll keep this one brief. I saw Genesis on their last tour. Phil Collins, unfortunately, could not play drums anymore, cannot play
Yeah.
drums anymore.
I know,
He
because of
sang.
that spying.
all right, well, 2 questions on that
No,
before
wait
you
a minute,
dive
wait,
into.
wait, whoa,
Wait,
Let Paul
listen.
finish
wait,
first.
wait. And then let me just say, his son played drums. That's what you get on these true farewell tours. You get moments like that. And that's where Kiss messed up by not bringing back Ace and Peter for at least one show.
I agree 100%.
That was a lot, but I had to say all that.
Look, so like I think I'm seeing a lot of bands that this could be their end. The Marshall Tucker thing.
Yeah,
The
that's different.
George Lynch thing was labeled as his farewell tour. Lynch Mob, Brown. So I
Hmm.
saw that. That's Lynch Mob that's farewell touring. That
So
would
it's
probably
going to
be
be a
that would,
George Lynch afterwards, solo artist, I think.
but there's
with the
other
backup
ones that
band.
are labeled that aren't labeled. That technically the Sublime with Rome thing was the last tour with Rome
Yeah.
that I saw. So technically, they didn't label that as a farewell, but technically, it kind of, which doesn't really matter because who is Rome, but you get what I'm saying. Technically speaking,
I see where you're coming from either way.
let's see the. Well, you know what? I'm willing to put money on. I think that Sammy Hagar thing was his last tour. That thing I saw in October or whatever. That was his last. He's doing these Vegas residencies now, but he's going to still do, shows here and there, like the casino shows, and comes to Oklahoma a lot. But I think, if not, he's going to do that like maybe another year or two of that festival or of that Van Halen stuff he did. That whole package that might be one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Because I like the whole 5150 album, blah blah blah, the whole Sammy Hagar era, better than the Roth era personally. But like that wasn't labeled as a farewell tour. But you look at these, he's like 74, 75, whatever. You hear him in interviews. He's obviously just fixing to start this residency of that in Vegas. So he's still able to, but like deep down, like, you look at the dates this AC/DC thing. There's 13 U.S. dates, bro. Only 13 dates, man. So it's like when they announce a tour, you got to see how much dates they're doing too. Some people it's going to be 3 months long.
That's nothing. 13 dates is nothing. Boston, the band, when they toured in 1987, it was only 6 dates that they did.
What?
Correct. Remember I saw them play at the Joe Louis Arena
Why?
that year. Well, because I like Boston. I mean, I had the third stage.
Why did they only tour that? Why did they only tour not that much? Limited.
That's a very good question. If Tom Schultz was on the call right now, we would definitely ask him about that for shizzle. But I guess years on down the line, they start doing more tour dates, more gigs, more performances down the line. I guess
Ultimate. Look, the farewell thing. Let me think of some. I mean, maybe the AC/DC. This might be their last thing.
Maybe so.
50 years, so it might be the last. I mean, the Metallica wasn't there. I mean, that would be a good way to go off, like kind of like Rush, the R30 tour. They didn't announce farewell, but that kind of the fan base and people kind of knew that this might be their last deal. So like that Metallica M72 tour, which has been about I don't know 3 or 4 years so far.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe longer, 5 years.
Oh, they've been known to do that for ages.
On that M72 tour, that's 2 dates each city. I mean, the Houston date coming up is 1 date, but most of the time the big sell was it's 2 dates, 2 different set lists. 2 shows, 2 different set lists for Metallica.
All right.
That's a damn, off the new album. That's a damn good way to go off. That's a huge fucking, how they had that stage set up in the middle and the round.
Yep.
At these football fields. Like, that's a good way to go off, bro. Like, but Metallica, they obviously have like probably 10 more years in them, at least, I would have to say. Beyond maybe not that much, but I don't know. I'm comfortable with saying Metallica is going to keep touring another 10 years, another decade.
Most likely.
Does Metallica bring out Jason Newsted for a song or two?
No, they didn't do that at all.
No, the only time they did that was during their 30th anniversary performances back in 2012 or 2013. That was about it.
Me and Brown accept Trujillo, bro. All right, we accept him.
Yeah, he's a pretty damn good bass player, without a question.
Look, people say Reload.
People
didn't even like Reload and Load anyway. Okay, and then the Black Album was just like the big radio thing, the big mainstream thing. So what did Newsted really bring? Paul 3. Come on, man.
Well, he brought a vibe, and he helped out on some background vocals. He would sing a couple lines.
You're right.
Didn't he sing like some "Wherever I May Roam"? A couple like lines in that occasionally live. I think
he hit that.
Well, Metallica made the big mistake of taking their anger, their sadness out on Jason. They treated him very badly. They had said, like, you're in the band, but you're not allowed to put any input, any riffs, any ideas. Just do your job and just sing back up and play bass and this and that. And here's something else. Hetfield wanted to keep Newsted under his thumb because he was afraid that if Newsted started a side project, he was going to eventually depart from Metallica. Hetfield was afraid of abandonment because A, his father abandoned him when he was a kid. B, his mom died in a car wreck when he was 16. And of course, the loss of his friend and bass player, Cliff Burton, 86.
All right, so I'm not going to a Metallica concert for the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
You're going
why not?
I'm seeing Lars.
No, bro, no. Cliff Burton was a massive part of that band. Are you kidding me? A lot of people love. When I was a young musician, okay, I started on guitar and then I went to bass for many, many years. I have a Rickenbacker bass. I have a jazz bass. My Rickenbacker bass right now is signed by Lemmy. But on that Rickenbacker bass, I learned a lot of Metallica because Cliff Burton played a Rickenbacker bass. Anesthesia Pulling Teeth. That is one of the most classic epic bass solos of all time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
to say that people aren't going to see Metallica for bass is foolish, bro. That's silly. That's a silly thought. If anything, they're not going for drums.
No, they're going to see Lars, you douchebag. What do you
No,
mean?
a lot of
No,
people.
they're
A lot of
going
people
for the
don't like Lars.
songs. A lot
A lot of
people
people do not like Lars, bro.
exactly. They don't care for his attitude, how he approaches things, and the fact I
Nah,
cannot
that was
count how many
come on. That was 20. That
shows
was
they made
25
about-
years ago in Napster. That shit's past, guys. Come
No,
on.
but they had to. But the thing is, I still have yet to hear the end of the jokes referring to the snare drum he used on Saint Anger. One of the most deadliest weapons out there, the knife, the gun, the snare drum that Lars used on Saint Anger. That's a deadly weapon on its own there. Imagine
All right,
having to
so-
put up with that for about how many
Well-
hours of full
All right,
blast.
so
I
they-
saw them on
Right.
that tour. I saw Metallica on the Saint Anger tour in 2005. So I had to hear that damn snare drum live.
And the fact that there was those solos on that whole damn record. Try to be
No.
new metal, they were.
But they had one good song off that album was called Frantic. That's a pretty good song.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember hearing that as well. Pretty good one there when you think about
It's
it.
not bad. It's not bad.
Paul,
really,
Paul, would you agree that it would be now appropriate time to add in Jason's bass mix in the And Justice for All album, and as well as remix Saint Anger so that snare drum is not so monstrous in your earlobes?
That would be nice, but
Yes.
for now, all we have is a fan mix, which is it
Yep.
called and Jason for All or Justice
And-
for Jason or something
Yep,
like that?
I heard that. Definitely.
Yes, you can find that mix right now, and it's the bass is turned up.
And YR just left, I guess. And now
YR, what's up? You back?
Prince,
All right,
why aren't you?
all right, so
Prince.
like Paul 3 and Brown, but Paul
Yes.
3 might shit all over this. This whole new Queen thing with Adam Lambert, mega big song. Mega big songs people want to hear live. I'd be interested in seeing that, but those prices really are big every time. I check them every time they come around. The prices are like 300 nosebleed, like ridiculous, and sold out quick for
Wow.
all their shows. It really is, guys. That's a tough ticket to get for a good price. That's why I haven't gone. I'd go and see that because I grew up watching Adam Lambert on American Idol personally. So he's not just some guy or whatever. I know he's good, but those are some shoes you can't really feel Freddie Mercury. But those songs are so important, guys. These songs are so important. You're gonna have to find substitutes, replacements eventually, and everyone does, or you just don't tour anymore. But no bands don't just quit touring. Everyone keeps going. Like what band really
YR?
quit besides Led Zeppelin?
YR, I want to tell you something right now. Yes, you can talk about Adam Lambert. Yes, I will say, hey, it kind of makes sense. He's flamboyant. He fits in with that whole style. But YR, I truly want, I'll have to send you the link because I know you won't look it up. There's a man named Mark Martel. He got famous. This man looks like Freddie Mercury. He plays piano. He sounds like Freddie
Bro,
Mercury.
I saw him. I saw him in concert. He does a tribute.
What? You saw him live?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
like-
you mentioned that.
Remember, you saw that Brown?
Whoa.
He does
Yeah,
a
I think
Queen
I think I
tribute.
mentioned that on one of our earlier shows, if I
Can
recall.
I have a little review?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. The tributes hit like that because they like the
He's-
ones that look like them freak you out, dude.
He's
Like-
not a tribute. He's not a tribute, but YR. What I'm saying is, wouldn't you rather have that guy sing for Queen than Adam Lambert?
Nah, because they're looking, bro. That's what they did with ACDC. The ACDC, they tried that with the guy I know, the tribute guy, but they went with all the bands are gonna go with the names you've heard of. If it's singer, if it's a major role like that, drummer, bass player, doesn't matter. Look what Motley Crue did. They brought in a name, John Five. They're just not gonna bring, like certain instruments, certain
What
parts.
about Journey?
Huh?
Yeah, but Journey didn't. They found some dude in the
That's
Philippines.
what I'm saying. Certain
Yeah,
bands.
Arnell is whatever his
like
last name
it.
is.
And he wasn't he a tribute singer though too?
Not that I know of. The only one I knew that was in a tribute band and later become the Join the Real Thing would have to be, of course, Tim Ripper Owens.
Yeah, and at least they made like some new music and stuff. Arnie Panetta with Journey, he's merely just a hired gun. I don't think they've ever released any music, at least of note, with him. So it's kind of like a different story. But Yeah. But Mark Martel for Queen, that's the route I think they should have went. Somebody who actually sounds like Freddie, since they're just going to be playing the hits.
Yeah, but you don't want to fucking like look. I'm gonna kill your argument right now, bro. If it's an iconic figure like that, you don't want to see a clone of him on stage.
He's not dressed like him. He just happens to look like him in the face. He's not like it's not anything he's doing on purpose, bro. He just looks like him.
Oh, Mark
That's
Patel,
it.
that's a different guy. Okay, yeah, that's a different guy.
Well,
But yeah,
let me
he's
add
good.
this. You know, a
He
lot
looks
of
like
times.
one Brown. Real quick, he looks like the one guy that Matt Gates, kind of.
Kind of does.
Yeah, but let
to be
me
honest,
add
it's just
this. When a band gets a new lead singer at times, they often try to go with the famous individual, like AC/DC did with Axl Rose, like Queen did with Adam Lambert, because this would possibly bring in more money to the band's
I have no
pocketbooks. You think about it.
no interest in seeing a replacement singer for songs that were 70s, 80s, 90s right now. I have no. The Skid Row thing is a perfect example. Skid Row as the band is the logo, which is really it's all it is. Sebastian Bach more Skid Row than this touring Skid Row.
Yeah.
Because
Unfortunately, I
Sebastian Bach,
thought that's going to
like
happen.
Sebastian Bach, that Eric Cronwell guy, who by the way is touring with um he's going to be singing all the UFO shit on that Michael Shankner tour, guys. That Eric Grantwalk, the guy who just left Skid Row, who has all these health problems, is going to be the singer for the UFO tribute from the Michael Shankner thing coming up. Huge news, I forgot, but yes.
Michael
So,
Shaker.
which that look like that's another thing. You're going to a UFO show if you're seeing this Michael Shankner show. You're not seeing UFO. You're seeing Michael and Shaker, and that's I don't know a lot about UFO, but like what I'm saying, it's the important who's the most important figures of the band, bro. Is
Hey,
what
I'm trying to share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes,
I
I
need you
can.
to
I
see
see it loud and clear. I see it wide. Go ahead.
Can you
Go
see
ahead.
that, YR?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, check this out.
Warts and all. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Wow.
Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy. I need no sympathy, 'cause I'm easy come, easy go. Little high, little low. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. To me. So you think you can stop me and spit in my eye? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out, just gotta get right out of here.
Browns.
Wow.
Brown, what you say?
Anyway, the wind
So-
Nailed it.
Browns
Brown.
point.
Nailed it.
The Browns point. It goes back to who's replacing the original or who's replacing the name.
My God.
For example, the
He
whole.
puts Adam Lambert to
For
shame.
example, for
Yeah,
example,
but can we talk? Yes, YR, we hear you, but we have to talk about that performance really quick because it's currently blowing everybody's mind.
Yes,
Please
our
address
minds included.
that's what all
Nailed it, as I just said.
all these tribute bands sound like this. It sounds like the same. It's
That guy, yeah, but Freddie Mercury, to sound like Freddie Mercury is something that's special, bro. That's a talent that is
It is-
surpassed being in a tribute band. That
It's
guy,
lightning in a bottle, bro. It's lightning in a bottle.
I want everybody
Yep.
to learn that guy's name. His name is Mark Martel. Look him up some more on
Mark-
YouTube.
Yes,
He
most
is
definitely.
Like, what is he's obviously has to be in some type of something that has to. He's not just like right. He's monetizing something that has to do with Queen.
Well, he can sing exactly like dude. He's like the human embodiment of Freddie Mercury that we
Yes.
have right now. He even looks like the guy. He's probably like a long lost love child of Freddie Mercury for all you
Who
know.
knows? Huh.
Didn't he do some
But
like English symphony thing with Queen songs with the symphony
I
orchestra?
need to look. I need to look more what he's been doing because I've just known him from YouTube and that he sounds amazing. There's another clip of him doing "Love of My Life." I'm not going to
So you
play everything
saying,
on here,
so
but
you're
look
saying,
him up.
hold on,
Didn't he?
hold on,
Didn't he
hold
do
on.
the song? Didn't he sing for
If
the Queen
he,
movie, guys?
listen, hold,
we don't
hello,
know.
hello.
I
If he,
think
Go
he.
ahead, dude.
I
if he
think he
replaces
sung
Adam
the Queen.
Lambert,
Apple quick,
that is
Walter.
huge. That is huge. If he replaces that would be fucking huge.
Guys, you
You
guys are
understand what
like,
I'm saying, guys?
bro. This is
You know
not.
what
This
you
is
tell me?
this is the
All three?
norm, bro. All the tribute bands sound, if they're good, if they're like a national touring tribute band, they sound. They're. It's called clone, guy. Look up the word
Yeah.
clone.
Oh,
Hello, look up
let
the
him try.
word clone. It's called clone. They sound the same. I mean, this guy has to do something. He's not just.
Oh,
I know
guys.
he's on,
Oh,
but
no.
like he's doing symphony shit with Queen song. Paul 3. Like this dude is. I think
He
he's a
was
true.
in he was in a tribute band called One Vision of Queen. He may still be in it. He was also in a band called Queen Extravaganza. He's from Canada and he currently lives in Nashville, Tennessee. So yeah, he's making a lot of money playing Queen music. But what I'm saying is, I don't think it would be a disgraceful thing to have him sing for Queen. I think it would be the ultimate tribute to Freddie to have somebody
Yeah.
who could actually do his songs true justice, unlike Adam Lambert, who just wants to put eyeliner on and go parade around like a parrot and look
Adam
like a
does,
fucking
does,
idiot.
does
And
sound
sport
different.
a cheap
Adam
mustache.
singing, Adam singing Queen does sound different for
But
sure.
Paul
Then
III
this Mark
wants to
Marone
be
guy,
like Adam. He wants to
1000%.
put some makeup on and
No,
parade like a parrot. He
no,
wants to do that.
Jesus Christ!
Is my
The
look.
guy,
Miss Vincent?
listen, Lambert does not sound like this Mark Moron guy. The Mark Moron guy sounds just like Freddie. Okay, we've established that.
Agreed.
The whole point of it is what Paul 3 is trying to say, I think, is yeah, you can. There's these guys, people out there that sounds just like, but like Brown made the point, when you bring in the name, that's going to bring in more. Adam Lambert, you can't act like Adam Lambert doesn't have fans, younger fans from his
Yeah, he had.
American Idol days.
Let's not. Yeah,
Adam,
let's not
Adam Lambert,
forget he had a couple of hit
he has a
songs
unique
out
voice.
early in the
All
early
He's
2000s.
irrelevant.
I
He's
Every
irrelevant, bro.
Paul,
It's more about serving the music, and I just have to clarify somebody's point because they did bring it up that Mark Martel, which they label him as a Canadian Christian rock singer, is what they label him, but he did sing for Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's quoted as saying that this movie wouldn't have happened without Mark Martel. So
There you
that's
go.
pretty crazy.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to address this for YR if you don't mind. Yes, he may come from American Idol. Yes, he may have experience the same as I experience. See, Adam Lambert came up in the musical theater. That's why he is the way he is. Like he's a musical theater child, and his years in chorus, his years in the experience of uh vocal teaching. He's done so many classes in vocal, like that. He's been like he was corporately made to be where he is today.
Marked out in
Yes.
Lambert's place, you're not going to be selling out these arenas and doing 2 nights. Like they do 2 nights, bro, in all these cities. By the way,
Well, let
Queen.
me throw this bit. Would you rather see Queen with Paul Rogers?
Yes.
Yeah, because Paul Rogers did fill in Freddie's shoes for a comeback tour
and
that
another
Queen
name.
did in 2005.
Another big name, Paul Rogers. There you go. Like they're going to replace these people with these names, unless that or the. It's all about the lead. I'm telling you, it's all about the lead singer. The lead singer is the really the most important shit. I mean, if they're doing these, I'm talking arenas and stadium performers. These singers. If you're not gonna, you can't be replacing these people now and expect to do stadiums and shit. Number one, okay. You unless it's a name, because that's what they did with ACDC and
Oh,
Axl
that's like
Rose.
me, Paul.
No way. You could, dude, if you had Mark Martel, you could still
That's
pack
not,
a stadium as Queen. I want to hear what Prince has to say. Prince, if you want to finish your point.
oh, he says
Yeah.
he wants to sit
Point.
here and sorry to say,
Let
since you
Prince
went to
go.
sit here and suck the cock of Adam Lambert, I can easily say that's like me being the front man of the revolution of Prince, right? That's like me being the front man and thinking, oh, I'm a parade and put some makeup
Yeah,
on
it's called
and
a
maybe be
tribute. No
Prince.
one's interested in seeing a replacement singer, assholes. It's called a tribute when they do that now. You look
He's
at,
not a
I'd rather
oh
see
my
someone.
God, it's the
I'd
UFO
rather.
thing. It's the
Oh,
UFO tribute band, but
hear me
with
out.
Andy Parker on
God, Paul,
drums.
I can't even talk.
It's
no.
Andy Parker.
Lambert's still being a replacement, bro. Lambert's still being a replacement.
They're doing
Bro,
clubs.
what me and
Listen,
Paul
I
have been
don't.
saying looks and sounds like Freddie. Like you
Idiot.
said, that's the ultimate justice. That's the goal we're trying to break.
He
from.
doesn't, bro. He doesn't
doing a
have to.
remix. That Buckethead is guitar player, bro. It's all about the lead.
No, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Mark Martel can still go out there as Mark Martel. He doesn't have to wear Freddie's classic outfits. He doesn't have to grow the mustache. He can still be himself, bro. That's the point. But they will sound so much more elite with him on vocals.
Clones, bro. It's disrespectful to the original singers.
No, I think Freddie would be flattered.
No. It's a not really a disrespect to
That's why
any of the original
your
singers.
Your point. The point is that's why they have tribute bands now. That's why it's never. It's what it is. It's called tribute bands. There's a million, bro. I'm telling you, there's a million tribute bands that or sound just like the singer. You mean?
Not like him, bro.
I'm telling you, bro. Look up Queen. Look up the thing he did. He did a tribute band. That's my whole point. The Mark Moran
Yeah, it is.
Is doing a tribute band because he can't bring in the asses and seats if he played for Queen. The point is that's why they have to bring in names for these shows, especially the big arenas and everything else, bar shows, blah blah blah. That doesn't
Bro, do
matter.
you think Adam Lambert's bringing the asses for the seats
Yeah.
in Queen? No, he's not. The name Queen is bringing the asses, bro. Adam Lambert has nothing to do. Dude, you could market this as you know how big of a movie Bohemian Rhapsody was? You can market Mark Martel as the voice of Bohemian Rhapsody, the film, bro. That's huge.
Your asshole.
Paul, I'm dead. He
Not-
said, I don't want to bring in
None
the
of you
seats.
guys, none of you guys, Dr. Brown, your opinion doesn't matter. None of your guys' opinions doesn't matter because y'all don't see shows like regular people see shows, bro. If you see shows, your opinion matters, bro. I'm telling you, I have no interest in seeing a replacement lead singer of these iconic song bands. That's my thing. If you can't agree to that, you're retarded. Paul,
Bro.
you gotta agree with me on that, bro. Please.
No,
But,
because
guys,
Adam Lambert's doing nothing new. He's not
Oh.
singing anything else. Go ahead, Prince. What do you have to say?
Oh, he won American Idol. You
bro.
fucking
No,
faggot.
let's hear it. Let's,
Yeah,
let's
but
yeah,
hold
but
up,
this guy
YR.
sang for the movie.
No, you faggot. He's a big deal. What the fuck is he talking about?
No, he's not. Nobody
Well,
knows him.
hold up. Why? Let me say this. Let me say this about Adam Lambert. If Adam Lambert was still putting out solo material on his own and still singing with Queen, he'd be a big deal for Shizzle.
20 years ago, guys. Do you forget how big American Idol was? The first
Yeah.
the first 5 seasons. Let's throw that in the first 3 or 5 seasons. Guys, American Idol,
Eagle.
American Idol, Prince Idol was so popular 20 years
I
ago.
bring the seats for Lenny Kravitz is bad.
It was so huge, motherfuckers. Simon Cowell was the first of its kind. It was the first fucking thing of it. That thing was so fucking big 20 fucking years ago. You can't argue with me. You cannot. Families were watching this show, motherfuckers, by the millions. American Idol was so huge. Adam Lambert, his solo career might not be that great, but when he joined Queen, that brought Queen back, motherfuckers. The Paul Rogers era sucked. It didn't last long. The Paul Rogers
Queen never left, bro. The Adam Lambert era is, you know what? Adam Lambert joined in 2011. That was a lifetime ago. Adam Lambert is no longer relevant on his own. He is only merely piggybacking off of Queen's success.
Yeah.
He was in 2011. Stop. I agree now, not so. Adam Lambert on his own. Solo career, no, not big. LGBT community, yes.
Oh, here we go.
But that's it. But that's it.
Hey, hey, Paul, what's that song? What do you want from me?
Yeah, that was his only big hit, unfortunately for him.
Dr. Brown,
Yes.
please agree with me that American Idol was super popular back in the day.
Oh, it was way popular. And the thing is, but the problem with that was that many people audition not to just be singer, but to be famous.
Nobody has interest in seeing a replacement. of classic
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
70s
No
and
one
80s.
agree
Now,
to.
nobody has
Well,
any.
if you don't mind, if you don't mind me saying, American Idol wasn't really was he popping? Okay, with this whole Simon Powell and Paul and American Idol became the shit when I was watching. I remember Steven Tyler being on there. American Idol was the shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he was something new, most definitely.
So American Idol was never the shit with Simon Powell, Paul Abdul, and Randy. No, it was the
Randy
shit when you
Jackson,
had
yeah.
like fucking Jennifer Lopez,
American
Randy, and
Idol.
Steven Tyler. That's when it became the shit.
But then again, think
Go back
about
and
this.
watch
It
that
kind of
era.
revived that
Go back and
interest in
watch that
Paula
era.
Abdul, that's
Go
for
back.
sure.
No. Listen to Prince Idol. Listen to a guy who had the name Idol in his name. Go back and watch American Idol, and you will realize it was shit in the beginning stages. When they had Steven Tyler and Jennifer Lopez, that's when it really kicked off. And then after that, they had Nicki Minaj as a judge, and it really kicked off.
Jackson years, Paula Abdul, Simon Cowell. Those were the come on, bro. Those
No,
auditions.
the biggest year was when they had William Hung. Do you remember
Thank
William Hung?
Oh my
Thank
god. Oh dude.
Thank
He'd
Start to
probably
see
be
it.
whooping. Maybe he
Start
could do better than Adam Lambert, for crying out loud.
He probably could. You want to know something
You're-
funny? I actually bought the William Hung CD when I was in high school in like 2004, 2005. It was called Inspiration. It's horrible.
Oh gosh.
It's him singing a bunch of covers like
Why are
really
you
bad.
You surprise me. This man says Adam Lambert put seats in for Queen. Adam Lambert was the man for America. What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Are that you really going to Queen to see? Um, what's his name, Padre?
I'm going to Queen to see the show, to hear the music, to hear it played correctly, to hear it played accurately, like I remember it. Not to hear Adam Lambert do his own thing up on stage. That's the last thing I want to see with Queen. That's disgusting.
Right.
Yeah.
Queen is more popular now
Bad
than it was
artist. I'm just
30 years
saying
ago, 40
he's
years ago.
not the sole power of that man. He's not the franchise of that man, bro. We can care less
Queen got
if
more
Adam
popular
Lambert was part of
back
that
Well,
band.
Well,
in America.
if I'm, let me throw out this name. Suppose Queen got themselves a female singer, like in, for example, Christina Aguilera.
I think that would be kind of lame, to be honest, too. I wouldn't like that. It
Yes.
still wouldn't represent what I think Queen is, to be honest. It wouldn't have that sound. You need a
No.
guy who can sing.
And definitely, Mark Montel
Like
definitely
I
did
said,
that for sure.
Yes.
No one would be
Mark.
Freddie Mercury, but the guy that you pull out your bag today, Paul, I think he would do Freddie's justice. Honestly, hands down.
Well, like I said, he did it on the movie, and I didn't actually watch the movie. I haven't watched too many rock films or movies lately, to be honest. But
Oh.
knowing this, I might actually check it out.
What bands now with replacement singers?
Oh yeah, go watch that movie. That movie's
What
great. I seen
bands
that.
now with replacement singers are clones and sound just like the
Hey, guess
original?
what?
None.
Um,
None.
Paul,
None.
guess what?
None.
If you didn't know this, if you're gonna go watch the what's it called,
Brian
the Human
Johnson
Rhapsody
replaced Bon
movie by
Scott.
Queen,
That doesn't sound like
you know
him.
who's in it? You know who's in it? Your
Who?
boy, YR, your boy's in it. Adam Lambert plays a truck driver in that movie.
Look what I said in the chat.
Yes.
Queen became more
Well-
popular in the United States when Adam Lambert became
Well,
part of
actually,
the
Queen.
God,
Actually, hold on a second. Queen became more popular in the States thanks to
Thanks to
Bohemian Rhapsody being in the first Wayne's World movie. That was back in 1991.
Thank
Well,
you.
no, Adam Lambert made them popular in the USA, bro.
Yeah,
Please
but
slap
then
him
hold on,
out.
hold on,
Please slap
wire, dude. You were a kid back then, so let me educate. You gotta remember, Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody was featured in the first Wayne's World movie that
it
same
was.
year, 1991.
American
At the same time, Freddie Mercury had passed away from AIDS, so the rock music world was mourning his death, and that kind of like gave a new lease on Queen's career in the States, because up until then, Queen in the States it's kind of like a whole hum, be whatever. Because remember, after Another One Bites the Dust became a big hit, it kind of like shifted towards the dance disco realm on that one follow-up record that they did. And the rock fans of the old Queen were like,
really,
but
Paul,
it took, but it became, but it
their
those,
live shows brought them back, bro. What do you mean? Their live show,
but
there was no Freddie Mercury because he died.
I
And
know,
then
yeah, but here's
Paul
the thing,
Rogers
though.
came with
New interests in the band soon developed. Those albums became reissued on CD and now in on vinyl.
success on American Idol. His popularity. Paul 3, you're jealous of Lambert, and I get it, but he won because of his
Yeah, but
talent.
am I making a point here?
No,
No,
Paul,
bro.
you do make a
No,
good point. I
no,
agree.
no, bro. We're not gonna sit here and let you just act like Adam Lambert's the best thing to Queen. Hell no, bro. The fuck is wrong?
What lead singers got replaced that sounded just like the original? None of them now. Name some. Come on.
Well, it is
They
true
don't
there.
do
I
that.
would say
That's
Tim
why
Ripper
they have
Owens, but
tribute
he's different than Rob Halford.
guys. That's why they have tribute bands. That's why they had tribute bands, because these people, that's their place. The bands can do that. And yes, Ripper was a tribute guy, but he doesn't. I mean, there's certain voices you cannot mimic. There's certain voices. I mean,
Yeah,
even
but sometimes
tribute I
it's
love,
some.
it doesn't sound like just like Alfred. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sometimes you don't want to do that. Like, look
what's
at
weird?
Black Sabbath.
I'm
Look at
fine.
Black Sabbath with Ozzy. Look at Black Sabbath with Ian Gillan. Look at Black Sabbath with
He,
Glenn Hughes. Look at Black Sabbath with fucking
Tony
Dio.
Martin and
I'll say
Ian
this.
Gillan as well.
Say this.
Yeah.
Yes, Ian Gillan. I know you always speak so highly of Tony Martin Brown. You very
Right.
Yeah,
speak very
he is a
highly.
good singer, definitely.
So,
Yeah, for shizzle.
But what about we'll just stick with the two main two. What about the Ozzy versus Dio Sabbath? I mean, you got a lot of different vibes kind of with the
Oh
sound.
yeah, and there's still those vibes are still going on today when you think about it. When you look on Facebook, on social media, the former Twitter.
it's two different deals, just like Sammy and David Lee Rose, or
But
Dave,
it's still,
whatever.
David
but
Lee,
it's,
David Lee Roth, dude.
It's two
What
different
the
sounds.
hell?
Or not sounds. It's two different.
See, you've been on Adam Lambert's cock for so long you can't even remember who's who.
oh my god.
And look, I haven't seen
Oh, dude.
Adam Lambert, but you're going to hear that guitar, bro, too, as well. Okay, that tone.
You are.
What's his name?
Brian
Brian
May.
May.
Right, trying to hear that Brian May guitar tone, bro, as well.
Roger Taylor does a lot
On
of the
the
background
drums.
vocals too. Yeah, on the drums he does a
Exactly.
lot of the background vocals,
I-
high vocals.
And he sang live on a couple of tunes himself, like "We Want Some Prime Jive" from the Game album, as well as "I'm in Love with My Car."
I'm in love
You're
with my car. What a classic song, man. I love that
Yep,
song.
from the 90 the Opera album.
you're going to GNR to see Slash, but Axl Rose is not going to be that great. Who you really going to want to see?
Now you're really doing it today, bro. Now you're really
Live
fucking with me.
now,
Now you're really fucking with
2025.
me.
It's different, bro.
You're gonna
Don't you
trigger
just
Prince.
Look, there's
hell of a
stuff.
singer better? He's way better than fucking gay ass Amber Lambert.
Dr. Brad, you go see people see Dawkins with Don Dawkins. It's fucking horrible. There's stuff now live that's
I'd
horrible.
rather see Don Dockett with
Since why
with
is it fuck-
Don, George,
I'll say
Jack
like this:
Wilson, and Mick Brown.
Axl Rose actually puts people in seats way better than Adam Lambert does for
I
Queen.
wouldn't even, bro. That thing was so bad. I wouldn't even want to see. Even if you're coming back with the original guys, like if you're a bad singer and you're not good, and you don't sound like you did 30 years ago, like at all. It is not fun, guys. I'm from experience, like even this Marshall Tucker thing, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different because
The
I grew
thing
up
is,
with music,
Paul,
whatever. But like, guys, it is way
the thing is,
in the
Earl and
singers.
Paul, I gotta say this. I gotta say this. If say for example, if Axl Rose tweeted, right, if he goes out and tweets,
Singer is the most
I'm going
important
to do
thing.
the original lineup. I'm going to bring back Izzy and Steven Adler, the original lineup of Guns N' Roses. I'll guarantee you that would sell out more than what Queen's over there doing with Adam Lambert.
No one gives a fuck. No, everyone just wants to see Slash and Axl.
Bro, what the fuck you talking about? If Steven Adler, the drummer, the original drummer, and Izzy comes
They
back to the actual line, Guns N' Roses' actual lineup come back, you mean to tell me no one's going to see that, Earl? You mean to tell me no one's going to pay money to see
Oh,
that?
they're going to be seen by the pound because a lot of people have been hoping the Guns N' Roses would come back. So because all we got is a three quarters of the original lineup.
They did that like a decade ago. They brought him on for a couple songs to try it out, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then again, Steven Adler did the dirty with Axel's wife at that time, and let's not forget the drug-induced stroke that he had back in
Another
'96.
one, Paul Three. The
Well,
Steven
the reason, hold
Adler, the
on,
Steven
the
Adler
reason
band,
why
his
I
solo
bring
band.
that, Earl, if you don't
He
mind,
has a
is
he
because
has a
Axel
one
went
that
there and
sounds.
messed with his girlfriend, who became
Hold
a
on,
rock.
hold on. One at a time. Wait, wait.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
I
to.
gotta
I'm
take
gonna
a leak. I'll be
moderate
right
this.
back, dude.
All three, the
Okay.
Axel,
Okay.
the Steven Adler tribute or the Steven Adler band, his solo band, where Steven Adler plays drums. He has a clone singer that sounds just like Axl
Stop
Rose,
the clone
and that
singer
shit
stuff.
is cool. That shit is cool when that's the thing individually, like that's the biggest point I made today. It goes by an individual band basis. When you when there's groups that the singer sucks and is not good, but when you see like the George Lynch thing, George Lynch plays guitar, he doesn't sing, but he played some Dawkins songs. He had this younger guy sing those songs. Oh my God, it fucking was great. You go see Don Dokken live right now, original singer. He sucks. He's horrible, washed up. It is not good. It is not fun. Okay. It's really sad,
Mhm.
honestly. It's sad. And I'm telling you, the singer is important. It's all about like if you can get anyone to play. Paul Three can sound like anyone on the guitar. You use the right pedals, you use the right whatever. You can sound just like the tone of the player you want to play. You know what I'm saying? That's not drums. As anyone, a baby can sound like a drummer. The point. The singer is the most important, and that's really what it comes down to, and that's what it should come down to. If you're paying your money, you want to hear it live, number one. There's a few.
No, I disagree, bro. I disagree because not everybody can. There's different guitar players are different for different things. I saw Steve Vai play live. You could never. There's nobody else on this earth that can make the sounds that fucking Steve Vai did. I've heard a lot of shred guys. Steve Vai sounds like Steve Vai, bro. Robin
But you
Trower sounds like Robin Trower.
feel like, and this is the point I was trying to make earlier, this is important. Do you feel like, the name is important? Who's trying to fill in the shoes? A Joe Satriani playing the Andy Van Halen stuff on this last Hagar tour. You can't get any better than Satriani. If you have to do a tribute to, if you have to do a tribute Pantera, you're putting in Zach Wild to
Yeah,
play that. Okay, it
yeah,
has
I
to.
agree with that.
Yeah, that's
The
true. I
placement
agree. It's
is
just as
so
well.
It's so important if you're gonna, especially if these people are replaced or dead. It's a different if they don't want to tour anymore. Sammy was doing his solo thing, and he still had what's his name, Vic Johnson, doing doing Van Halen songs on his solo tours. When it's not Satriani. So if you're gonna label it as like this tribute to these guys, in a way, the names are really important, man, and that's why they have tribute bands for these people, for these Mark Morons. Mark Moron. This fucking
Mark
No, but
Martel.
yeah, but
he's
he
good.
sang for the movie, bro. He sang. That's clout. That is he was in Hollywood. That's the type of guy you can bring in. You can capitalize on that. So it's not just bringing a guy in out of a bar scene singing a Queen song. This guy sang for the official movie that made millions of dollars over the world, bro, across the
I think
world. So I mean, it would be perfectly logical for them to bring this guy in, but they just don't do it because they have allegiance to Adam and he's in the band. And they're probably like a band of brothers, and it's this whole stupid bullshit.
That's true.
there are no bands that are doing stadiums that aren't the original singer that we know. Obviously, Bon Scott, Brian Johnson's a different story, but there is no. I mean, it's all guys. It's all Dave Rose. If you're listening, it's all about the singer. Tribute band. That's why we have tribute bands. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, none of you have gone to tribute bands. They sound this
I
like there's
have.
some
I've
some
played
that
with
not y'all. I'm
tribute
saying a lot of
bands.
people don't know what I'm saying. Like clone. Look up the word. Like if you close your eyes, there's some that don't, but a lot that there's tribute bands that tour. A lot of them are local, and a lot of them are city to city, and some of them are just in the state. But a lot of the really good ones, like the Back in Black ACDC and others, they tour the whole United States all year. You know what I'm saying? Like there's shits that's so good. People shit on the tribute thing, but it's really the future of music, man. I mean, Foreigner is a tribute band. It's a licensed
Is
tribute band.
now.
What
Yeah,
Kiss is gonna do with this animatron, whatever,
Avatar.
That future. You got to go. That's why I'm trying to cram in all the concerts. I mean, if and that's another thing. If you look at tickets, if you look at prices, press green, press go, hit yes. When you don't go to something, you regret it later. I have. You go for it. Money comes and goes. Prices are higher than ever for concerts. I mean, Brown, I can't imagine in the 80s. I mean, people looking at these old ticket stubs like $10, $15 GA for
$17. Yeah.
mega bands, bro. Huge I mean, that's, but price, that, I mean, Paul 3, like, how much do you charge for your shows? $20 a head type deal or free GA?
It definitely ranges. I mean, it can go as low as $10, bro. You can see amazing shows for $10. It just depends what your local music scene is like. There's so many, dude. There are so many shows happening literally almost every night in the Pittsburgh area. It's crazy. You can see talented people who've toured all over the world that are in some of these venues. You can see them for up to or as little as $10, $20, you know what I mean? So you have amazing talent. I know there's talent down there in Texas, you know what I mean? There's plenty of talent down there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it all depends where you're at, what your local scenes
Yeah,
like.
so a
You
lot
can
of
see.
tribute. Yeah, there are tribute bands in Texas. I've seen at the Concert Pub North many times. Tribute to Styx or tribute to Led Zeppelin, to name a few. The Crew
I don't know.
tribute that I saw prior to the pandemic.
It is a thing. If you look it up, Paul 3, through AI, like the DFW tribute scene, the DFW, Dallas Fort Worth music scene, it is a thing in just the inner music community. Like, I'm not trying to brag and be like, but there is something like, I don't like, y'all kind of shit on the whole tribute shit. But I'm telling you, like, the shit I've seen, bro, you close your eyes, motherfuckers. And I know it's live because I'm right. I know what's pre-recorded, what's not. Motherfuckers, you get a couple drinks in you. You close your. I mean, you don't have to close your eyes the whole show, but just and Brown, you know about this, and Paul 3, you know
Yeah,
about
you
this.
feel the vibes, and it takes you
The
back. You're
live
thinking that's
music,
kind of
the
like
song
the original
takes you.
band.
The song takes you on the journeys. It doesn't matter who plays it. To Dave's point, when you hear the special song, whatever song that might be, that maybe got you through life, got you through hard times, nostalgic songs. When you hear that song, it doesn't matter who is playing it. I feel like, I mean, being inebriated makes a big difference too. I bet, but the song individually, it can be some. Paul 3 can play. Paul 3's band can play the whole Pink Floyd Pigs album for Dave Rose for his birthday. And it could
Animals.
be the greatest fucking treat Dave Rose ever. Like, Dave Rose could be like, oh my God, guys, that was, I mean, it can mean so much more than seeing washed up Roger Waters, seeing these bands washed up now, seeing these singers. I mean, really, it's a singer thing, washed up. I mean, instruments, can you really, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think you know what I think that's a good note to end on personally. So,
Yeah,
personally on my end, I know we're over 2 hours tonight. I don't know how
I
long
know.
we're trying to
Yeah,
go, but I gotta wrap it up soon. So, do you know what the topics for next week are gonna be by any
I know.
chance?
Anything you want to throw out there, we'll definitely discuss.
we have to do like 30 minutes on the AC/DC tour because that
Hmm.
will be
Okay.
fun, man. We're gonna give some time. I'm gonna do a couple blogs.
Okay.
Give you
Okay.
maybe we can play something through the video, but
Hmm?
we need to do. What do you think, guys? Go ahead.
I might go to the Rick Wakeman concert on Tuesday, so I'll see what I can do there. Get maybe a
Give
couple
a
clips
review.
or something.
Give us a
Yeah, I'll
review.
give a
Most
review.
definitely, for sure.
Maybe me and Prince can meet up. Prince, you gonna try to go to the concert?
You guys
Uh-huh.
should.
How to go?
Yeah. So better yet, you could also meet up and do a live stream together, like you and I did years
Yeah,
back.
we gotta hit that. You got Prince.
For
Spin the
shizzle.
300. Just hit this. Come on.
What day is it?
It's on Monday.
Prince, are you guys gonna go to the concert together?
I know I am. I know I am. I don't know. I don't know what YR has planned, but I hope
You better,
hopefully
motherfucker. Well, hit me
we're
in
gonna
the DMs.
just bump into each other. And let it
You
just
guys
split.
got to meet up. You guys got to get a picture together. Maybe film some content. That'd be awesome, actually.
Yeah,
Prince of
so
Shop.
me and YR did a couple twice before.
I'm gonna get fucked up, bro. I'm gonna get. I
I
might.
don't know
I
about
might
that.
bring my own Jack Daniels or something. I don't know.
Yeah, hang out
Bro.
and have a good time. That'd be awesome. You guys
Right,
totally should do that.
Have
Hell
a
yeah.
drink with Prince. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Brown?
Mm-hmm.
Get Prince
Wow.
loaded.
Dr. Brown, I brought
Yeah,
Dr.
Prince.
Brown a Pepsi, I believe. Is that what I got you?
I
A
think
Pepsi?
it was a Coke or a Pepsi, one of those two things at the pre-show, that's for sure.
Did you trust YR, Dr. Earl? Did you get any weird vibes?
None at all.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure it'd be
I know,
fun.
I know. So, because I remember one time on another program, somebody in the chat said YR tried to spike his drink, but he forgot Earl doesn't drink.
I'll be expecting to hear Paul 3 and Dr. Brown and Dave Rose on Monetize This 500 this Saturday in a couple days.
Is
Well,
it this
if I-
Saturday?
It is this Saturday, and this is
Oh
mega.
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Wait. I have a question. Is it an open call-in?
Well, throughout history, all the major Monetize Thises were open calls, technically.
Like, is there going to be a phone line, or are we going to an Instagram or a Discord link or
think
anything like
I
that?
think it's a Discord he had to call in. I know I'm so sorry. I mentioned before about putting Discord back on my phone. If I'm going to call in on Joe's program this Saturday, I'll call from the castle, of course. Show him around the joint.
Yeah, we got to hit that. All 3, do you think Jake DeMarco will be on 500?
Listen, I don't speak for Jake, but I don't think he'll be there.
Dang, it's that bad, guys.
Well, who knows? It
I'm not
depends.
saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I don't really, like I said, I don't speak for Jake, but we're gonna get him on the program
That's up to
sometime to
Jake.
talk music.
That's definitely up to Jake for Shizzle. And
Yeah,
definitely we got to get Jake on the call on this program for sometime soon there, Paul.
we got to start getting it off. We got to get it off this channel and start putting it on X Spaces, though. All right, Brian?
No, we don't.
No, we tried that before and it sucked monkey balls.
Hey guys, what are we gonna get Microsoft Teams, or are we gonna start using Discord?
Well, I have Microsoft Teams right now on my computer. It keeps popping up on my Skype saying this, go to Teams, go to Teams. It's like Skype's not dead yet, homie. In fact, I'm getting messages on both Teams and Skype. What do you think about it right now?
Before we leave, let me
Skype.
look up tickets for the
What's wrong
Tampa
with doing
show
StreamYard?
for you, Brian.
What, Frizz?
What's up?
What's
All
wrong
right.
with doing StreamYard? I think we should
I'm gonna
just do
look up
StreamYard. It'd be easier.
For the, see if all you guys, if we can simultaneously go to the same tour, even if we can't go to the Zach show together, that would be cool. If we can all, we should try to do that.
I don't know where it's at.
Let's see. Tampa, Florida, May 16th. Is one coming to Pennsylvania or no? I don't think so.
Who is it?
Pittsburgh, May 8th. Pittsburgh, ACDC, May 8th. Let's look at these prices.
ACDC is
And then we
coming,
have to look at Dr. Brown prices next. Let's see if we can get y'all
Right.
to this tour. So the cheapest seat is $91 for the Pennsylvania tour, which is not bad because it's a thing. People say any seat for an ACDC show is a good seat. It's like a quote I see on social media. So any seat's a good seat for ACDC. It doesn't matter where you sit. 91 on the cheap. That's pretty good, guys. That's pretty good for, I mean, there's a lot of seats left. So that's possible.
Yeah,
I could
All
send
right.
you that dollars, Paul 3. Let's see for the Dr. Brown. Now there is a Michigan show, Dr. Brown. Would you travel to Michigan for?
I'd rather see one here in Tampa.
So this one's on Friday in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
The cheapest seat, look, and this is what I'm talking about price difference. $195 for the cheapest seat, guys. Now there is not a lot
No
of seats.
surprise. No surprise.
It depends on where you're at in America, bro. Like there's shit that's really sold out. There's shit that this is 100 seats left. There's a lot. There's not that much seats left for this. 195 on that. Now $200 for nosebleeds. Would I do that? I don't know because at first I didn't even want to go to this tour, but I was listening to videos and I saw it was limited, and then the prices weren't that bad when they're on sale. I paid $200 and I'm not nosebleeds. Okay. I paid that much, but I'm not nosebleeds. So nosebleeds sucks, but it super sucks when you're at a stadium, when you're at a baseball field, when you're at a football field. Those nosebleeds is the worst for sound. Is the worst, guys. So nosebleeds isn't worth it to me at certain venues, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
But
terrible. It's always
uh,
terrible.
to
Yeah.
Paul, Theory, it's not even worth it to him for $100 because Cliff Williams isn't there, Malcolm Young, Chris
And
Slade's
Phil
not.
Rudd. And Phil
No,
Rudd.
I'm not making
I
fun.
mean,
That's
you're kind of
like Paul
right.
Theory, I agree with your point because look, there's I'll give you a band. Look, I mean, I saw Creed. I mean, I saw Kiss without Ace and all that a couple times. But like, what band does YR would see that doesn't have as much originals or important? What songs do I really love that I would want to see live? I've seen really all the
Other than
show.
Judas Priest.
Other than I mean, all like I've seen so much stuff in the past 2 years since like 2023, guys. From the Van Halen shit with Sammy, you got your Van Halen crunch, right? Your Van Halen fix from the Kiss shit with Ace Frehley a couple years ago, Ace Frehley show. Okay, I was gonna go to the Kiss farewell, but my friend was sick and tickets were, it was last minute, didn't go.
Way
But
through the
I
roof.
already saw him already. I already saw that version of Kiss 3 times already. So what, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, so but what I honestly, I mean, I want to see. I'd like to see the Stones. I mean, they're still what they are, but I can't think of like it's hard, bro. Like I mean, I'd like to see. Look if the Doors came back with. I honestly, I don't care who would sing for the Doors. I'll pick that one. If the Doors came back with Robbie Krieger and the Oregon guy,
John
and,
Densmore.
that's all I care about in the Doors now is the guitar player and the organ guy, in my opinion. But
Ray Manzarek.
I'd pay money to see the Doors with some type of singer, a clone, or I mean, that would be a good one. I like
Manzarek died. Ray Manzarek, the keyboard player, died like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
really.
2013. Yes, he died in 2013.
I'd still go. Look, I'd pay money to see Robbie Krieger as the Doors doing Doors stuff.
No, no. My band opened up for a group called the Ultimate Doors. They are as close as the Doors you can get like nowadays. They played the Whiskey a Go Go and everything recently. Really cool guys too.
I mean, Poison, is one of the greatest. I mean, they're all original still touring. Prince hates
Yes.
them, love them. I mean, you can't get any better than Poison from the '80s. But like, who? You want to go see Ministry? You're seeing Al Jorgensen. I mean, it's all about the whole point of this. To Dave Rose, it's all about the singer. I mean, that's the most important, and that's who people want to see. Who's singing the songs? Who's singing the song? Now, guitar players want to see a guitar player. You go to like what Paul Three was talking about the whole
George Lynch.
the Steve Vai thing. That's a guitar player's concert. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting really. He doesn't sing, right?
No.
So you're getting mostly instrumental stuff. So like, it really is what you. But for me, like, really, it should be the singer and how the songs are being sung and sounded. The Linkin Park thing that I saw was a replacement with the woman, and that is a whole different deal.
Vibe. That's
She
definitely.
doesn't sound like what's his name. I mean, it's
Chester
similar.
Bennington.
It's the Scream thing for sure. Like the Scream thing is in there, but that's it's a whole nother deal. But it's like
It's a
Brian
different
Johnson.
vibe.
It's like Brian Johnson and Bon Scott. It's still good. It's not bad. That the replacement singer for Lincoln Park guys. She's not that bad. Like, so there's stuff. I mean, Adam Lambert live with Queen is not that bad. Like it's multiple shows in one city when they tour. They double shows, matinee, sold out. I mean, I looked like a year and a half ago they were doing a tour or whatever, and I looked 2 years ago, whatever, and it was like way out of my price, $300 for nosebleeds, Brown. I mean, it was
Crazy.
there's stuff that but there's fans of Adam Lambert, man. There's fans of those songs. There's super fans that are Like the AC/DC show, there's going to be people from all over the world going to this, bro. Going to these things. Like, there's people that go to shit no matter what because it's the songs. They want to hear the songs live. And sometimes it doesn't matter who's performing them, but you go out of your way to see the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Brown, you do a Black Sabbath tribute band,
Hmm.
you're gonna get some attention from people because you're really like you're super good at guitar. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, holy
Yep.
shit. You know what I mean?
That's true. All right. So I guess this concludes our episode of Music Maniacs because I know Paul has to get off the call and take care of a couple things, as me as
Next
well.
week we're gonna bring in Tom Homan, the Border Czar. He'll be joining the show with us next
Who?
week.
Tom who?
Tom Homan, the Border Czar. So
What,
looking
the
forward
who?
to that.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna bring in Adam Lambert too, right?
We're gonna bring in Adam Lambert. He's gonna do a cover with Mark Moron.
Mark Martell. He's not a moron. He did.
Guys,
He channeled Freddie damn good.
You guys are aiding and abetting Paul 3 here with this whole Queen thing, man.
Not. I'm just expressing my thing. I'm expressing my opinion on this guy.
The other one saying, "Oh, Adam Lambert does sell seats for Clean." I'm like, the fuck.
Yeah, but
Adam
you
Lambert-
also got to remember, like I said, you got to have somebody famous to help fill all them seats. You know, what better way to sell a famous band than a famous individual joining that band? That's another reason why Van Halen became so big, like they did when Sammy
at
Hagar joined.
Steve
Famous.
Pop replaced the bass player Dusty Hill
Adam
with
Lambert's famous.
Attack, and they're still touring, and no one blinked an eye.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in. So what's next week's topic?
Well, Wire did suggest 30 minutes on the upcoming AC/DC shows coming up. And I'm not sure if I have anything in mind.
So there'll be videos coming out tonight because they'll probably start in 30 minutes in Minnesota live right now.
You
They're in
guys
Minnesota.
need-
Did I say
tonight.
You
something?
guys need to meet up. You guys need to meet up for sure.
Yeah,
That'd be
definitely.
awesome.
Prince,
Earl,
come
did I
on.
say something?
Yes.
Go ahead, Prince.
So I'll buy you a
Knock,
tour
knock.
shirt too.
Knock, knock, Earl.
Who's there?
Adam.
Adam who?
Exactly.
Yep. I knew you were going with that one there.
Same guy who praises fucking Axl Rose. He's a fucking douchebag. Get out of here. Axl Rose, biggest douchebag ever lived, bro. And you praise him, Prince. Idiot.
Yeah, but then again, people praise Richie Blackmore, and he's a douche at times.
That's true.
Axl Rose is the best, one of the best. Come on, he'll go down in history as one of the greatest, craziest rock stars of all time. I don't know about Adam Lambert.
The most overrated frontman is Axl Rose. The most overrated band is Guns N' Roses. Besides Slash, Paul 3.
What about Ozzy Osbourne?
Wrong.
Two
I think
albums,
Paul
bro? Get out of
said
here.
the most overrated band was Motley Crue. Correct me if I'm
Oh,
wrong.
hey, I want to do a Guns N' Roses album collection where that's only 2 albums, you fucking idiot. You're like, really?
Actually 4.
Well, you do
Actually
it.
5. Well, if you want, actually 4 if you want to include Axl's solo record,
No,
Chinese Democracy.
no, we want to include just Guns N' Roses, very small catalog. Paul 3, you got to admit Guns N' Roses is overrated, man, and you're on mute right now.
Guns N' Roses is trash. But hey, guys, I will see you next week.
All right,
Thank
there.
God.
Okay, so
I said Motley Crue was trash. The hell?
well, Motley Crue wasn't trash back in the day, that's for sure. I know that nowadays, the vibe ain't really the same with John 5 taking over Mick Mars, and of course we all know Vince Neil is still kind of questionable by the audience in terms of singing, and I know the big jokes all around the internet about is Nikki Sixx still playing bass or is it taped or whichever there.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, I guess
I guess it's you and I, yes. You and I guess.
They don't know what good shit is, or they don't appreciate good shit. They really don't.
All right.
I'm not going to
Definitely-
sit here. I'll say this in closing. I'm not going to sit here and say Adam fucking Lambert, the gay pony boy, is better than fucking Freddie Mercury. I'm not going to say that. No.
You know, you cannot replace Freddie Mercury. but you could have someone who could channel Freddie Mercury in homage. And I think Mark Martel has definitely did a good job on that for Shizzle.
I'm just sorry. He discomforted me because I'm a huge Freddie Mercury fan. I can't see Adam Lambert putting in seats for Queen. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Right there.
Not doing
Right there. Yeah. Okay, this concludes our episode of Music Maniacs for this evening. Everybody enjoy the remainder of your Thursday evening. For Prince Idol, for YR, for Paul 3, and myself, yeah, everybody have a good one. And special thanks once again to Devious Dave Rose for popping on the call and adding to the discussion that we were having. Everybody, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and notification bell. See you all next time, folks. Bye-bye. All right.
Bye-bye.
Mhm.